Hi, everybody. Welcome to FNS Wrestling Podcast, episode 189. Back down in the basement on a Friday night to talk about another week of wrestling as you eat a yogurt bar. This is professional business right here.
It's a good thing we're not on video because it would look weird.
Welcome back. If you're a regular listener, welcome. If you're new, glad to have any new listeners we can. You said you wanted to mention, because we usually banter here, there's timestamps if anyone wants to skip through this to find our AEW review, trivia. We'll talk NXT, a little bit of Raw, some TNA, a couple pay-per-views we got to
Review and preview.
Review a couple. Well, I'm going to talk TNA real quick. What was it?
No Surrender.
I cherry-picked it, but I
like that I know.
And then, and then we'll preview Revolution as well. So lots of stuff this week. I feel like it's going to be lengthy. Yeah. I won't say it's going to be short.
Don't say it's going to be short.
It won't be. It never is.
Dirty lie.
But you wanted to mention we've been watching the new season.
I don't think we mentioned last week because I know we
Bad Batch.
I don't think we talked about it last week, but even still, there's a new one. So we'll probably talk about that last. And
yeah, I really like this week's episode. I will say that.
So we'll talk about it last because even though it's not related, I do like to talk about it because I like it. So
and he wants to spoil things for people
just because it's easier to talk about. So we'll put last so anyone can timestamp it. But
right.
I don't think there's much else.
Not much new going on. We had crazy weather, like warm to bitter cold to insanely windy to back to warm this weekend.
Yeah, there's a one day of like a lot of snow, but not snow day.
Seems like everybody's getting sick.
Except for me, I've weathered the storm.
You have.
Because
your brother's been fighting.
Nathaniel is incredibly sick for like a week, and somehow that didn't get me at all, which I was worried it would. And then one of my coworkers was sick, and then her friend was sick who also works in my department, so like they were both kind of sick, and I worked with them a couple times. So
half of your brother's basketball team is sick.
Somehow I've managed to stay completely fine over all this.
Good job. And then I don't know what else is. There's nothing really new. Just you're playing a bunch of badminton.
Braces are here to stay.
Braces are here to stay. You got the update. What, another 6 weeks?
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand what's going on.
He's a perfectionist.
I'm not paying anymore, so I don't care. They can stay on forever, as far as I'm concerned.
How does that work?
Because they gave us a quote, and we've reached that whatever. So now it's just like he's not going above what he quoted us for your braces. It's just taking a lot longer than
it's just happening.
He planned.
Ah, okay.
Because I would be mad if we were still paying. I would be curious if it's a cash grab or something. But
that's fair.
We're not. And then your brother is getting his on shortly, right? So you'll both.
That makes me chuckle.
Well, I mean,
share my pain.
Right. You've been there. Get him on early, get him off early. That would be my advice. Mm-hmm. It's well worth it.
He's probably getting one about when I did, though.
Yeah, that's pretty similar.
Because you're
supposed to have them off in grade 10, but you're still hanging on.
Actually, he's he's actually probably he's a little after me because I would have been like, if he was right when I did, he probably would have been like end of January because it was like mid-grade 8 for me, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
Sounds right.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got more basketball tomorrow, 2 more games, but then he'll have practice on Sunday. I always forget about that. Sunday night practice gets me. So I'll be busy with that, but and then your mother's birthday is early next week, so I don't know if we'll go
same day when 2K comes out. Ooh.
We'll go out for dinner for her or
I got to make a ploy to stay home at some point one of the days cuz I just want to go hard on that, you know.
One of what days?
One of the days, like what either day comes out or the morning after, I don't know.
Oh, your video game you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Around your mother's birthday. That's more important to you than your mother's birthday. You did get her gift, so that's good. We won't say what it was in case she listens. I don't think she does.
Also, because I would rather not say that I purchased said thing.
And had to carry it around the mall without a bag. That was the best part.
Yeah, that was her thing. Was we got like
you could probably say what it is. I don't think your mother listens.
Mm-hmm. We got Daniel Steele novels, and
she loves
we don't read those.
She reads literature and good stuff, but then in the summer she likes to read just trash. Danielle Steele, no offense I'm sure we have lots of listeners that are Danielle Steele.
There's a lot of overlap.
So anyways, we went to the mall because I knew she had been looking for these 2 books to sort of stockpile for the summer. So you grab them from the bookstore in the mall and they don't give bags anymore. So I was saying, this is amazing.
Weird.
So you, teenage boy, had to carry around 2 Danielle Steele novels in the mall.
And it's like her face is very prominent on the back.
Yeah, she puts large photos of herself on the back of the novels. So it was pretty funny to me.
It was awesome. I was honestly like, I got this Funko Pop 2-pack, the Star Wars one from GameStop. I did want it, but we were half saying like I was just gonna buy something to get a bag.
Just to get a bag to put those books in a bag.
Shield
I told you to put it in your Taco Bell bag.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it would have survived. Your mother would have wondered why her books smell like Taco Bell.
That would have been awesome.
Maybe that's a bonus. That makes books better.
If they just reek of Taco Bell.
Fries Supreme. She likes Fries Supreme. So if it smelled like that.
I did get that. So it would, I mean, we were saying the same ingredients in both things. So it would probably smell the same regardless.
I think Taco Bell has like 6 ingredients and they just change the shape or combination of
Yeah,
things.
They find creative ways to change the shape or
and
whatever. But, okay, so that's, I think, everything else.
Yeah, are we ready to get started?
Well, Little Bad Batch.
Oh, you want to do that now?
I meant.
Oh, sorry. So
at the end of this, just so
end of this segment. Got you. So we're gonna talk more detailed Bad Batch. If you want to skip it, just look at the timestamps and jump ahead to the news.
Okay, go ahead. To talk that, but okay. So I don't remember if we talked about it last week. So if we did, forgive me.
I don't think we did.
I don't.
As the one who listens most of the time.
But so what? It was a 3-episode premiere the other week, which was the 21st, I think.
Yeah.
So that was, I like that. That was the first episode where Omega's in the prison the whole time on Tantus. And that was like, that one was really slow, but I like that because I feel like it
I don't mind
developed
slow.
her a lot. And
it's like matches if it builds.
I find myself not hating her less and less, which is weird. Yeah. The second episode was just Hunter and Wrecker, and they found a couple cadets on a planet, and they were looking for intel on where Tantus was, so that one was probably my least favorite so far, just because it felt the most filler to me, and it felt like just to kind of get them on TV.
Yeah.
And my boy Crosshair was in the first one, so that was good. And then my boy Crosshair was in the third one.
He was.
Which was them. That was probably my favorite one so far because it was Omega and Crosshair escaping, and I feel like, and talking more about the fourth episode after, they have a really cool dynamic that I really enjoy, which it's just kind of weird because he's super not trusting of everybody because everyone's abandoned him. And he's kind of worthless without being a soldier. And he's like, I think his whole thing is because he's the expert sniper. And so if he's not a soldier, then what's his deal?
And he wants to do soldiery stuff, and she won't let him.
Yeah, and so then they escape because Omega's blood's important for Palpatine because Palpatine's obsessed with not dying. I mean,
right.
That's fair. But yeah, and then after they escape, the fourth episode was really good. And it was kind of filler, but I feel like they're starting to perfect the good filler because filler doesn't have to be bad, but I feel like in the first season there was always like the ones where they're just doing a job for Sid or something, and it was just like really not.
No, but feel like this was more rounding out characters of Omega and your guy there,
Crosshair. Come on. But no, it was good. And it was like a lot of compromise between them because Omega's not wanting to hurt anyone, and she's like going back for the Hound repeatedly,
insisting on saving the pet. Yeah,
right. And then Crosshair's like wanting to shoot everything and storm through and kind of going with force. Yeah. And so they have to like. It also was a nice callback because she was playing the card game, right? And there was the one episode in the first season where she learned to gamble with Sid, right? So that was a nice callback, but. And it was kind of like when Han wins the Falcon from Lando.
Right, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, but that was really good. And then at the end, I love the ending. Where
it was cool.
They meet on the moon, which I think they met other people on in like the first season. And the reunion with Omega and them was nice. And I actually did care a little because again, I don't hate her anymore.
No, she's way more interesting,
way more well-rounded
as she gets older.
More interesting, yeah. And then I love because then Crosshair comes out of the ship. I saw someone meme about it where it's like Crosshair's just waiting in the ship as she's like hugging them. He's just like up there waiting to walk
make
out.
His entrance.
Yeah, but then he walks out and then like you can see their facial expressions change, which I really liked. And there's just like kind of this tense stare down to end it, which I hate because now I have to wait.
There's no payoff of what their actual reaction. It's just them stoically standing there and then episode over.
Which I love and hate at the same time.
I thought it was a cool cliffhanger of a really good episode.
It was really good, yeah. And it's super fast paced that fourth episode we're already there, which means there's definitely bigger things to come. But we'll probably update as we go because I do like to talk that a little just because it's interesting. Of course. And it is actually good. I'll say that I actually want to get your opinion on this. I like this already better than Mando Season 3 because I feel like that one really disappointed me.
I don't remember a lot of it, so it couldn't have been awesome.
That was the one where like him and Bo-Katan, they win the Mines of Mandalore and he had to get like redeemed in the water and then remember Moff Gideon was making clones of himself and like he had they blew them up and he had like the Mandalore. It was and there's the episode with Jack Black. Remember that?
Yes.
And it was really weird.
It was weird.
Not good. So we're 4 episodes in and I already like it better than that because it feels like it's actually
what are we getting, 8?
Doing something 16, I think.
Oh, 16.
This is the one where it's like, more normal.
Yeah.
Because I feel like they go more normal run times as well because Mando usually has longer episodes. So no, but I'm really enjoying it so far. It's like
it's good
feels
stuff.
like it's doing doing good.
Yeah, so hopefully there's a crossover between wrestling fans and Star Wars fans.
Yeah,
there's got to be some. We can't be alone.
I feel like there's got to be some crossover. I don't know, something like that.
And I was telling you, last thing I'll say is I got some cool feedback from my buddy Bark over at Obscure Mics. If you're into any tech stuff, entertaining guy, knowledgeable, and just a good dude. And I always tell him when I'm messing around with audio and stuff, and he thought in terms of sound, our last episode was our best one.
Because I'm sick.
And he thinks you've improved a ton because he kind of checks in when I mention we've done something different, and he thinks you sound a lot better and that we sound pretty comfortable talking to each other, almost like we know each other. Little.
Oh, it's pretty impersonal.
Right. We just met for this podcast. I just put an ad in the newspaper randomly.
This is my first job, even though we don't make any money off of this.
Any wrestling nerds out there that want to talk wrestling? And you responded.
I don't get paid very well here, but it's okay.
The whole father-son thing is a gimmick. Like, we met for this podcast.
It's a sham.
Yeah.
I mean, you will note that there's not a lot of physical similarities, so then it could be a sham.
But we've really committed to the gimmick with 189 episodes where we talk about like family stuff every episode for a couple minutes.
That's part of my preparation for this.
It's a long con, people.
I'm like the Will Washington of this fake lore. It's like, so I'm preparing this fake family lore every week, and we gotta like keep it consistent.
Right.
I'm Will Washington.
I don't know what the payoff is, but it's going to be something amazing.
I don't think anyone else mentions Will Washington.
Plot twist. You're actually much older than I am.
It's all a ruse.
Yeah, we'll see. And the video is also like actors and voiceovers I put in.
It's not even me.
No,
it's
not us.
It's not real.
But anyways,
we got to real life.
We got to get into talking about wrestling or we'll be down here forever. And I got to get up and drive to Toronto for basketball tomorrow. So let's transition into the first segment where we talk about some of the week's wrestling news and rumors. All right, let's look at the ratings as we tend to do. And we're going to talk about NXT first. So they averaged 570,000 viewers this Tuesday, down 7.5%, earned 8.16 in the key demographic, down 11.1%. Lowest audience total since July 4th of last year. So a reasonable amount of time, not good numbers for them. Didn't see. I was
going to ask that was Great American Bash, but that started becoming that was a PLE last year. So
don't know if there was stiff competition. There was nothing mentioned. So usually if there was something crazy, I notice. But AEW Dynamite averaged 822,000, down 1%. So virtually the same as last week. 0.29 in the key demographic, which was exactly the same. So second highest audience since January 24th, and just steady numbers from last week. What do you have?
What?
So if you steal any of mine, we didn't compare notes.
I feel very differently about this than most AEW fans. Okada's expected to make his debut on the post-Revolution Dynamite. I feel like most people are excited about this, and I'm really just not interested.
So I'm not excited, but I'm interested. I'm not like hyped for it. I agree. I feel like we've talked about it a bunch. He feels like a better fit for WWE.
And I feel like I've seen enough of him. Like I don't even pay attention that much. It's just I feel like we're so stacked, and there's like
that's part of it.
I feel like not only are we stacked, but there's also just guys I feel like that deserve runs more than him. Yes, He's a big dude. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it because he's not great, but it's like he's literally New Japan's John Cena. It's like if John Cena went somewhere else, I wouldn't be clamoring for him.
Okay.
Or like, okay, Roman Reigns then.
Yeah.
He's like the Roman because he's like the one after Tanahashi.
Yeah.
So he's like Roman. If Roman went somewhere else, I'm not clamoring for him to get a title run because he's had so much. Mm-hmm. Okada's done so much. I feel like every time I look at someone being the champion, I'm like, I look away for a second, Okada wins it. It's like
Okada's constant. A guy I'm fine with in companies I don't watch, and then when I hear
he does something good,
then I watch it because
like Omega or
that stuff is great. Like
we watched that match with Jay White he had, or like I don't mind seeing him like intermittently, like watching the Danielson matches, but like even then. Even though it was Danielson, those matches were really good, but they never clicked with me.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like you felt the same because I feel like there's a lot more expected of those and it just never really hit for me.
Yeah, and immediately following.
That too, but even the Wrestle Kingdom one, I thought it wasn't like, oh my God, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like I enjoyed the cage match more than that.
Yeah, they have enough talent there to focus on.
Exactly, and I feel like I'd just like to see what they could do with him in WWE. It just seems interesting to me.
Feels like a better fit to me.
I hope that he goes there, but I feel like because it seemed like he was going to, and now it seems like it's going the other way, and I feel like that's what's going to happen now. And I'm just like, I'm not really feeling it, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I think we are less into it than most people. I'm a little more okay with it, but I think it's funny because I'm more excited about Queen Aminata, and that's my news story. Like,
okay, that's fair.
That she's advanced to the semifinals. A little surprising. She defeated Taya.
Okay.
So is she the favorite now? I feel like she is.
Hey, I'm totally happy with that.
Because she's awaiting the winner of Velvet and Layla Hirsch, so she should be either
Red
of those two.
Layla Hirsch should be okay.
And then I like Layla, but I think it's time for Aminata. And
I'd like that.
And then I hope she finds her way onto Dynamite because she's cool, and I have
probably
seen
not.
very
She's
little.
an ROH TV champion. I mean, Fletcher couldn't even make it on. He's in a faction that's on TV.
But good for Queen Aminata. She's cool. I hope good things for her. What else do you have?
I enjoy her. So on the AEW pay-per-view schedule, Tony Khan is eyeing increasing to 9, maybe 10.
Remember, it was 12, so we've already backpedaled to 2.
I do like that, but I'm saying we go 6, 7. Because 6 is one every 2 months, which I feel like is reasonable if they want to increase. Because they want to increase. I think last year we had...
I don't want any more than 6. I'm fine with 4. And then
I'm totally fine with 4.
And then do your TV special ones.
I feel like 4. I feel like 6 because you do the original ones and you have Forbidden Door, which I think you need to keep because Forbidden Door is awesome. And All In, because All In's like their WrestleMania. So you
Although New Japan is not quite peak.
That's true.
There's still enough talent there
maybe Forbidden Door
to make it interesting.
Maybe Forbidden Door can go die, and the last one can just be the Toronto one, and we can have that happy memory forever.
Or Forbidden Door starts to involve like CMLL more too.
That's what I'm thinking. It's like CMLL has to bolster their side, right? Or like, honestly, I'd like to see maybe, depending on who the tag champs are come that time, you get the War Dogs a crack because I kind of ended up liking them.
Yeah.
So you could get them, and they're like...
They were pretty cool in that match.
Nemeth could show up because he's got a belt from New Japan now, or like Riddle could get a match on there because he's got the world's ugliest belt now.
He does.
I hate that belt so much. Oh my god. But Tony Khan said, back to the point, I could see this year being 9 to 10. 9 is probably a good sweet spot. Disagree.
Me too.
Feels like that's about the right number. No.
Too many.
I don't want to make a huge change or increase, but definitely 8 was incredibly successful. I don't want to do anything totally different, but I see an opening for 9, probably maybe 10.
Was it 8?
Was last year? So what?
Is he saying 8?
Revolution, Double or Nothing, Forbidden Door, All In, All Out, Wrestle Dream, Full Gear, World's End. Okay. Oh, it was 8. Jesus.
Huh.
Okay. I forgot about Wrestle Dream. I think that's the one
even though that was
better than
really
World's
good
End.
show.
World's End was the one that kind of was like, why are we doing monthly things?
Right.
I don't like the thing with World's End though is if you do the Continental Classic, I do like it as like that kind of destination mark.
Yes. So, Continental Classic anytime.
That's true. I would just like maybe move the Continental Classic to like some other time where you could put it at a pay-per-view.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But I don't want that many. It's just...
it's too many.
It feels too many.
As the person who pays for them all.
And I also just like that
it was
an alternate because it's like you get these... It was kind of like seasonal pay-per-views almost when it was 4 because it's like there's 4 seasons per year. You kind of get one seasonally, but it was also just like WWE churns out PLEs.
Yes.
And I kind of like the AEW, and they felt special. And they always hit.
And I like that they do some special episodes of the show.
I really like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. 9's too many. I would be fine with half a dozen, I think, at most, probably.
Half a dozen,
but then again, I didn't realize there was 8 this past year, so
but that's at the same time, it also, like, World's End, it kind of felt like too much.
It did. That seemed a little bit extra.
And even Wrestle Dream.
A big signing for TNA Wrestling that I'm kind of happy about, and that's former MLW World Heavyweight Champion Alex Hammerstone, right, who's had a match recently in TNA against Josh Alexander.
And he's going to have another one, I think.
It's a good match,
yes. Sacrifice.
So it's at Sacrifice in a rematch from Hard to Kill. And no word if that is an exclusive with TNA deal or he's allowed to go elsewhere. I wouldn't be surprised if he goes elsewhere. Unless, they offered him a ton of money. But he's one of the free agents I wanted them to have because he doesn't have the stink of any other major company on him.
He's not bad.
He's good. He's got
Nightmare
the look,
Pendulum,
right?
sweet.
So it is. His finisher is cool.
Yeah.
So I'm interested to see more of him, and Alexander running it back is fine by me too.
More on the AEW pay-per-views. They filed a new trademark that's got speculation on another pay-per-view.
I didn't hear this.
Dynasty.
Really?
It's not a horrible name. I could see that being a spot to put the Owen
was
Hart
the name
tournament.
of a soap opera in the 80s? Like a nighttime soap opera.
I was Dynasty. I've been thinking Hart Dynasty. You could put the Owen Hart tournament there. I don't know.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Me too. Last one because
kind of lackluster, honestly.
Starks won it, and it means
it doesn't mean anything. It's like winning the Battle Royal at Mania.
Andre. Well, it's not even at Mania, but they put it on like the go home show now.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
how meaningless it is.
Yes.
I honestly would just replace it completely with the C2. I mean, I like that they do something for Owen Hart, but like it really like if it was a Brody Lee tournament, I think I'd feel more strongly about keeping it because Brody Lee, it's like it's something more centric to that company. It's more recent. It's like the Owen Hart thing. Yeah, it's the tragedy, and I'm not taking away from that at all, but. That's been like decades and decades, and it's like there's a foundation. Like, you know what I mean? I would like a Brody Lee thing. That would be kind of cool, but I don't know. I feel like it doesn't hold a lot of weight to it.
Does not.
But anyways, Dynasty. It's an okay name. I don't love it, but it's okay. It beats Big Business or Meat Madness, which are terms they've been using lately. So
they have Meat Madness canceled.
Meat Madness is kind of funny, but like,
did you hear about El Hijo del Vikingo? Surgery for him. Remember, he
did he vacate the belt then?
He tweaked his knee, came down awkwardly. I didn't hear anything about that, but apparently a torn meniscus, ruptured ligament, and no timetable.
Sound like a title vacation.
Too bad, just as he's kind of gained a bunch of traction in USA.
America, yeah. Well, and it kind of sucks because it was Omega had the belt and he was supposed to face Vikingo. He got injured. Didn't Vikingo win the vacant belt, and wouldn't it suck if they vacated it again?
Right.
And you wouldn't think that because it feels like you won it so long ago, but they do really long title runs there.
They do, but surgery sounds like he's going to be gone long enough. You need to vacate it, probably.
Yeah, which kind of sucks for them.
Yep. I only have one other thing.
Me too. Is the last one is Tama Tonga is heavily expected to be WWE bound. I saw even maybe he gets in the bloodline, which I don't think you need to do that.
I don't either, but WWE. I would say Vince, but it's not him anymore.
Is Haku in that family? I don't think I knew that.
I don't know.
Cause like I didn't think he was. But
it'll be close enough for WWE.
That's true. But I think the bloodline's not even like a hot thing either, where it's like, oh, you get a new guy in there, and that's like a hot spot for him. I feel like he could survive on his own.
Yeah.
I did see a funny thing where it's like, they were saying Tom Tonga's like, oh, my finisher is Gunstone, which is a jumping cutter, and then like it shows something about Randy Orton or whatever, which I thought was really funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think Anderson uses it that much anymore.
No.
Because he's used to use that too.
Down in NXT, where I'm so happy to see him. Machine Gun. The only other thing I have is I always like to end on bad news lately, it seems. Former WWE writer named Michael Leonardi is alleging he was fired from the company in 2016 for changing a script against Vince McMahon's wishes. So he says it was a segment that aired on Martin Luther King Day in 2016. It involved Neville, Titus O'Neil, R-Truth, and Mark Henry.
Okay.
So the script called for Neville to speak up and tell everyone that he's got a dream too, and that his dream was to win the Royal Rumble. So he wasn't comfortable comparing like a dream of winning a match to like one of the greatest, most historic speeches in the history of the United States on like a super important, amazing topic.
You knew it was bad once you mentioned Vince, Martin Luther King Day, and then Mark Henry, and Titus O'Neil, and yeah.
And actually, that's not as bad as I would have imagined. If you didn't, like if you
that's
just said,
true. I could definitely concoct something worse in my
mind.
Way
worse, easily. So apparently, he's saying R-Truth, Mark Henry, and Titus were also not comfortable with the line, and so he sort of changed it to have R-Truth say that instead of Neville. And that Vince's response was basically, so you didn't give me what I wanted, and then just reamed him out when he made the change. And then he's saying his departure because he had been fired before, or he left the company earlier in 2005, saying that he was tasked with creating a video package for the Muhammad Hassan Undertaker feud.
Oh, that's not good either.
And so he asked to work on a different project because he felt the angle was insensitive, considering there was London bombings earlier in that year.
Yep.
And so basically that all of these things, him sort of saying these things are not things we should be saying and doing on TV, and Vince going, see ya, sort of thing, right? Which doesn't surprise me at all.
How dare you?
But that's my only... You got any other stories? That's it for me.
I do not.
All right, well, let's... I guess we need to go over a couple reviews quickly. One from, we'll probably just smack them both together here. One from WWE, one from TNA. We'll start out by taking a look at which should be first, actually. No Surrender, I guess.
Technically, yeah. By like hours.
All right, well then let's do that. We'll talk about TNA No Surrender, followed immediately by a little bit of Elimination Chamber. So going into this show, I had so much wrestling to watch that I just decided I wasn't going to watch what I didn't want to watch. I was going to watch the matches I wanted, which was virtually all of them, to be honest. I didn't watch pre-show, who really cares about that?
But you watched PCO Con?
I kind of didn't, but I started to skip it, but then it was clear there wasn't much to it, so I ended up kind of watching the vast majority because I don't know if you heard the results, but anyways, the opener was Kazarian and Eric Young. Did not watch. Just not interested at all. It went almost 10 minutes apparently, and I know I was scrubbed forward. I saw Kazarian lost, and then he lost his mind and beat up one of the referees. So it's basically, I guess that's where we're going. And they do circle back around to that on TNA Impact this week. So Kazarian is super bad. He lost to Eric Young. I did not watch that match. Second match I did watch, Grizzled Young Veterans versus ABC in the rubber match of their best of 3 for the tag team championships. Really good match. Again, almost like 18 minutes. Just an awesome back and forth tag team match. And the champions retain. I was a little surprised, but I think maybe it was their art. It's called the 1-2 or whatever, the art of finesse into the fold.
Oh, yeah.
1-2 sweet, I think it is, right? They hit that to Drake to win. Really good tag team match. And wasn't it in my news or your news or our news that they're not officially signed, right?
GYV?
Yeah.
I don't think they are.
So maybe that explains them, because I thought like, wow, you guys have made them look so strong already. Why not just, I don't think ABC needs so they didn't. ABC retained. So really good match. Quite enjoyed it. Just good tag team wrestling. And I'm hoping that they do sign with TNA and stay and sort of get a shot at the titles, because this was a good series of matches. Then we got Con PCO. Again, wasn't going to watch it. Ended up only being 4 minutes because Con grabbed a chair, hit PCO, got DQ'd, and then basically fighting after the match. And I think it ended with Con. He's doing the cheesy like neck snap thing, you just grab.
The Fiend did that.
So he put a chair around PCO's neck and did that to him. So
is that really? Does that?
So
work?
that's going to continue.
I don't know if that works.
Dude, there is a Con singles push right now. Like, you look like, I could tell you're happy that I have to watch it. You're like, enjoy me suffering having to watch that.
It's one of those things where it brings me immense joy that I don't have to watch this. It reminds me of like Wrestle House, or like,
you should feel
that's why I was like, when I saw the Good Brothers show up in NXT, I was like overjoyed.
Yeah, nice. Thanks.
I was like, I know you're gonna love it.
You know what? So in that same vein, you know what you should be happy about then whenever Decay come on, because I just now am like, I should
be happy they came back and beat MK Ultra for the belts of all people.
I just start typing mean things about them basically as soon as they come on. And that was the next match. Wouldn't have watched it because it's Decay, but I love MK Ultra, and I was just hopeful that MK Ultra would win the titles back here. And they did.
I should start typing mean things about Bang Bang Scissor Gang so that they go away.
So then I was hoping that this was the end of Decay, but it's not, as we'll get to the episode of Impact this week. So anyways, Rosemary's spear attempt countered into the snowplow by Masha, and MK Ultra win back their titles after, it was only like 7 minutes basically. So I don't think it was a great match, but just get the titles off Decay and get them gone.
I guess you have to hot potato them, because who else? What is this division?
And it's a waste because, like I've said, MK Ultra are one of the coolest things in that company as far as I'm concerned right now. And there's just nobody for them to have a meaningful
feud with. Say your hope should be the partnership with WWE works out, because at least like WWE kind of has a division for their tag belts. Like, yeah, it tends to be some random teams sometimes, but I feel like I could at least count 6 teams on my fingers, and I can count 2 in TNA.
There's another one because after this match, MK Ultra continued the beating, and Danny Luna and Jody Threat, who have been
so 3 teams,
partnership.
Awesome. So now you can have them hop to the belts, and then Decay come back, and it's just like,
yes,
you have the whole division in a match.
So I don't know, they need to flesh out that division, but I have been impressed with Danny Luna lately, and Jody Threat's fine, right? So they're not a bad team, but it's like, you have championships for a 3-team division, pretty much. But I guess all companies have that issue in some divisions, right? And then we get I think, match of the night on this show, and it caught me by surprise, and it was Simon Gotch taking on Josh Alexander. And I'm generally not a fan of Gotch, but I was telling you his style is
you were saying
like Smash Mouth, like just coming at you and hitting you with intense, vicious looking stuff. Nothing super fancy, but just like one of those, I'm going to keep coming forward and hitting you with stuff. I thought it worked really well. This one was like almost 17 minutes with a big, he got the Alexander won with the backbreaker power bomb thing that I like, and a nasty looking C4 spike that I don't know how he does that and doesn't actually hurt people. It looks amazing every time.
Whenever I see it, it looks sick.
So I was really impressed with Simon Gotch, even though I don't really want to be. I think maybe this intense, violent heel thing is going to work for him. And I think he even made reference to, he went over to the announce table, I think.
Villains.
And he made some reference of, Ray Walt said something like, he's a real villain or something, ha, wink, wink sort of thing.
They were over back in the day.
But anyways, I really liked that match. And then it was Moose Alex Shelley for the world title. I don't know. It was good. It was 20 minutes. I just never thought, and it was a throwing in the towel match. So it was Kushida.
No surrender rules.
Yeah.
Who can you trust?
And I just thought like Moose won it by putting a chain, sort of like you would put what are those things with the bullets on it that Chewbacca has? A bandolier, or is that what that's called?
Yeah.
Nice. So he spears Shelley with the chain around, and then I think he goes for it again, and Kushida throws in the towel.
That's what he did. I didn't see it, but like
I didn't feel like that
doesn't make sense to me.
I just didn't feel like Shelley took quite enough of a beating unless Kushida's, it turns out he's turning heel or something and was trying to screw Shelley over.
Like, Kushida's gonna get serious again.
He's gonna start wearing
jeans again. But like,
because they're just packing them up in a trash bag from NXT and sending all of his stuff. What's that a reference to? Mickey James. Right.
But like, I feel like it's not like a buckshot where you wrap something on your arm. It's like the spear with the chain on your arm. That really change anything? Like, especially with how he does the spear, because he kind of does like the rolling one that Lashley does. I feel like if Braun Breaker had a chain on his shoulder, then maybe I'd buy it. Mm-hmm. But Braun Breaker spear, this is not.
Yeah, it felt a little bit early for the towel to be thrown in, unless it plays into a story somehow. But anyways, the match was good. It wasn't great. Jordan Grace successfully defended the Knockouts title against Giselle Shaw. I was kind of hoping they'd pull the trigger on Shaw
Knockouts world title, actually. They feel the need to shoehorn that in.
That's right. Grace Driver after about 10 minutes. Good match. Nothing wrong with it. Not amazing, but like a 3 and whatever, 3 and a quarter, 3.5 star. I'm not going to give star ratings officially because I didn't take detailed notes or anything. And then is this where... I think Ash by Elegance was involved in this somehow, if I remember correctly, because they had to get her on the show. I don't know if she was just there watching it or something, but I think she was around. And then it was main event time. X Division title, Sabin, Mustafa Ali. Again, very good match, entertaining, 20-minute match.
Weird main event choice, though.
I was hoping for more. Like, this was a BB plus match, and I was thinking this had a chance to be an A match. So Ali does win. I'm glad that they decided to put the title on him immediately, because why not? The crowd's not quite cooperating because he's a heel and they really like him. Even on TV this week, I feel there was a bit of that.
Yeah.
But yeah, really good X Division match. I don't mind it being the main event if they want to focus on that, because it was more of maybe I guess in hindsight they were telegraphing a title change, right? Because Moose and Shelley, I don't think anybody thought Shelley was winning.
That's true.
So I think they were sort of like, we'll put this on because we're getting a title change. But anyways. Overall, a pretty solid show. Like, nothing was bad. I don't know. I guess I didn't watch the opener. I heard it was okay. Basically, I was like, if I hear it's amazing, I'll go back and watch it. But it really wasn't an interest to me. So anyways, let's shift gears to Elimination Chamber, where I took notes on the first couple matches, and then it'll be really quick on the other ones. So only a 4-match show, right? In a huge-looking stadium.
Yeah, but like with empty pockets you could play baseball games in.
Yeah, like there were, and not because there weren't tickets sold, because there's
just
not
literally like empty spaces in the stadium. Like not even like they could have filled more. I don't know. Maybe just like
you could have just put folding chairs down. I feel like
maybe they just be bad spots.
Yeah, I guess sight lines might have been bad because of the structure. That's quite possible, actually.
But I feel like they still sell seats a lot of the time in spite of that. So I don't know if that's
true.
I don't know.
I thought every match on this show was hindered at least slightly by the results being obvious. We did do official predictions, but we talked about it off air, and we were both right about everything.
I was confident with everything with like basics.
Right, and it's just certainty. Like I know you should suspend your disbelief and whatever, but it's hard to get into the near falls and some of the comebacks and stuff when you know
sometimes they can pull good ones out of you, but the action's gotta be like really
to get me to forget.
Good pit. But like this was just like it's main roster style, which again like we're not the biggest
of that style
connoisseurs.
And if you are, good for you.
Yeah, but
we're not.
This is my show.
That's right. So we got 4 matches in 3.5 hours, which is unacceptable.
And I'd like to point out that this show is main evented by Nia Jax.
And this was a travel brochure for Australia. There was so much. And I think you're going to expect this to happen even more. Because I don't think in the era of streaming, it really matters what time the show is on. Like, I don't think it needs to be at a convenient time for North Americans in the streaming era. They're not. No, because they've already paid for it, right? It's not like you're inconveniencing them and they're not going to buy it.
Right.
They already pay for it.
Yeah, and it's like, I think if people really want to watch on time, I know like people either stayed up or woke up early, right? And then if you don't have to.
That's right.
Which we didn't.
And then I think the other thing is these countries are going to continue to offer WWE big money to go and do this, so why wouldn't they?
I mean, Australia's not Saudi Arabia, so I'm okay with that.
And that's about as far as they can go, and they made it work. So everything's going to be pretty much closer than that, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I feel like you're going to get more of these international shows.
Well, we got the Berlin one this year, right, and we got Backlash in France.
Right. So I think this is going to become much more common. Mm-hmm. All right, the opening match is the Women's Chamber match. And basically my first note says, who could win other than Becky after seeing the other competitors? And I think that held up, right?
That
we can say.
Held up.
So Naomi and Becky are first. They exchange pinfall attempts early. Naomi climbs up the chamber a bit and hits that split leg drop thing she does on the apron to Lynch. And then you noticed, and this will probably lead into a sidebar, their overall game ratings are on the screen.
Yeah, that's annoying.
I think it really reveals... It's basically them telling us who they're going to focus on and push,
or
and who
it's
they
more
think,
like how they view people, because it's
more
like so based on the last year.
It's
so
where everybody slots in.
It's more so based on like previous stuff, but yeah,
right,
it's still just weird to have. And like I noticed, I think in the men's chamber match, Logan Paul had the second highest.
Right.
Ridiculous.
It's interesting. Anyways, Stratton is in next, and I thought that was smart because she has experience with Lynch, right? She's wrestled Lynch a bunch of times. And man, was Stratton over with the crowd.
She not only was she over, but I feel like the entire match they gave her ample time to show.
They tried to make a star here
to show herself, and I thought it worked out really well. Because I thought she came in this match looking really good, and I'm happy with that.
Me too. We get some acrobatics early by Stratton. She dominates for a few minutes, as the fresh people generally do. Becky counters the prettiest moonsault ever with a Russian leg sweep off the second ropes.
Like sleep.
Liv Morgan's in next. She runs Stratton into the pods repeatedly that I thought actually looked pretty good.
Yeah, but then you were like, that's not her doing anything. That's not.
No, that's not Liv doing anything. I believe my note says a lunch exploder, but I think it's a Lynch exploder. Sends Stratton into the cage. And we
blow up your lunch.
We get the disarmer through the cage. That was kind of an interesting idea.
It was all right.
Naomi blockbuster, not a sunset bomb, as
they called it sunset flip power bomb. It was solid looking, but it was like, I think what was it Stratton
to Liv?
Oh, to Liv. Sorry, Liv was on like the top turnbuckle, and Naomi just jumping from the pod, and it was like, it's not a sunset flip power bomb. Don't try to tell me it is. I'm not stupid.
Stratton rolls up Naomi to eliminate her. So Stratton gets a.
I thought that was like. I did like that she got the elimination. I thought the roll up wasn't the most convincing. Like I feel like
it wasn't.
It's just she kind of like sat down and like rolled. Like you could have done it better, but I'll take the win.
I'm happy for Stratton.
Yeah.
Rodriguez in next as commentary talk about her 86 rating. She needs to stop smiling.
Raquel, yeah. Oh my god,
silly.
So it's so funny because
it really does not.
You ever seen like one of those videos where it's like their evolution by year?
Yeah.
And so I randomly saw one about Raquel, and so I just see her like evolution, like, and you see her kind of all. I remember like when she was Reina Gonzalez and the Mae Young and whatever, and then you see her in NXT and whatever. And then like 2022, she's still kind of like normal, but a little more. And then like 2023, she's just like.
She smiles while she's hitting like the first several moves here.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And she's like not looking a little paler here. I know she's been dealing with like skin issues and
whatever. And I also think
she
couldn't wear makeup because she had a flare up of that, whatever it is, that illness.
That's why she's been
Sounds
gone
awful,
for a while,
honestly.
I have seen videos of it. It looks like crap. So I definitely feel bad for her.
I'm glad she was able to.
I'm glad she's all right, yeah. But just she's smiling like Balor. Remember Balor used to be plagued with that? Balor and Ronda Rousey.
Yes.
Ronda Rousey used to smile the crap out of. Oh my god.
She uses her power to dominate for a few minutes. She swings Stratton into the chamber. That looked okay. Vertical suplex to Liv into the chamber and then sort of dump her in the ring. And then everybody else has to join forces to slow down Rodriguez. Belair comes in last. She beelines for Stratton, throws her into the pod. Belair dominates, including a stalling suplex to Becky Lynch. The powerhouses then face off, being Belair and Rodriguez. Rodriguez. What's
Rodriguez now?
Right.
Now that you mentioned powerhouses, I'm surprised there's been zero mention of, or like not zero, but like very little mention of Jade since the Rumble.
Some say that Gonzalez got her spot, whether she wasn't ready or something.
Maybe they didn't want her to lose.
Maybe that too. They wanted like just strap the rocket to her.
No
when
pinfalls
she's ready.
on her.
Right.
Right.
Belair counters a suplex on the apron into a slingshot DDT. Liv with a senton off the pod to Rodriguez, who's across the top turnbuckle. Stratton swanton off the pod onto, I think, pretty much everybody else.
That was sweet.
Avalanche flatliner by Liv. They tried to call it the Oblivion, I think. Didn't look like it.
I hate Oblivion. You know how like Lex King used to do the coronation and he would drape him on the ropes and it's super contrived and stupid. I think Oblivion looks, A, it's a dumb setup. B, it looks like crap. It's not a finisher. It's the worst version of a flatliner. I've seen Lashley and other people do better flatliners.
I thought this was a really telling moment because Liv is like the crowd darling and she got booed here for eliminating Stratton. So I thought that was really telling.
Liv's super overrated by people.
Corey Graves acknowledged it, right? That the crowd prefers Stratton to Liv, and I agree with them wholeheartedly.
Yeah, but it's just weird because, like, obviously the character, that's not something that should be being cheered over this little babyface.
It's not the reaction she's supposed to be getting, but
she does good work for sure, but it's just not the cheerable kind.
Double Tahana Bomb by Gonzalez after a bit of an awkward setup, but immediate KOD by Belair to eliminate Gonzalez. Press slam to Lynch onto Morgan from Belair. We get some acrobatics and a splash onto both, and then she swings Liv into the cage. Excuse me. Liv leg presses Belair into a pod, basically like shoves her off with her legs. Becky barely escapes a KOD. Liv rolls up Belair to eliminate her, and then immediately Lynch hits the manhandle slam and pins Liv.
Which is like a crummy rock bottom.
Becky wins after 32 minutes. I don't know about you. I enjoyed this. I thought it was a good match. I thought
it was pretty good. I enjoyed it.
It wasn't like elite.
Like I thought I liked when Stratton was getting good showing.
Me too.
That helped me in my enjoyment of the match for sure.
Like very much predictable, right? Obviously, who is going to win. I'm also really happy with
the finish was really sudden too.
It was like I was hoping it would be a little bit, not a singles match necessarily, but not like 2 seconds either. Happy with Stratton's presentation for sure. Probably would have had her last even longer if it was up to me. Anyways. And like you said, the finish wasn't my favorite because 2 eliminations happened in rapid succession.
Yeah.
But I liked the match. I gave it 3 3/4
Naomi
stars.
was a relative non-factor too.
I was entertained by it. I gave it 3 3/4. Off the top of your head?
3.5.
Nice. Then we get the New Catch Republic.
Nope. Never say that again.
Tyler Bate and Pete Dunne.
Never say that again.
Taking on Judgment Day, which was Balor and Priest in this case,
Pete Dunne was wrestling at first with like his hair up, which is so weird.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
They talked about R-Truth. Did you catch that? He went to Austria.
I did remember him saying that. That was kind of funny.
Dominic grabs the microphone. The crowd just drown him out.
They hate him.
And
so
the
much.
NCR, how's that?
We're not, no, just. Ugh.
So they attack. Immediate exploder shooting star by Bate to Balor. Some joint manipulation by Dunne to Balor. Priest tags in, takes control of Bate, including a broken arrow. Bate gets isolated by the heels. We get a Balor rest hold in the middle of that. Dom hits a cheap shot to Bate in the ropes at one point. Bate finally gets to the corner, but Dunne's been taken out by Judgment Day, so no one's there for Bate to tag. Finally, the hot tag to Dunne, moonsault to both on the floor. The baby faces double team Balor, and Dom is starting to get worried at ringside. Priest gets back in, and he dominates Bate. At this point, I don't think Priest has taken any offense to this point. Half a moonsault, I guess, because he goes the base for that. Heels isolate Bate briefly, but he powers out airplane spins Priest.
That was cool.
Graves, does he spin in the other direction since he's in Australia? That was kind of funny. Somersault dive by Bate onto Priest on the floor. Dunne hits the bitter end, which still looks cool to me.
I love the bitter end. I'll always love the bitter end.
He hits that to Balor, but Dom stops the pinfall, and the ref ends up sending Dom away. Double Tyler driver to Balor. Priest breaks up the pin.
It's such a lame move.
They just double everything.
Well, it's like I just think it's like not like so much of this feels like something Pete Dunne wouldn't do. New Catch Republic does not fit Pete Dunne.
No.
A double, not his move, doesn't fit Pete Dunne. I do like the Birminghammer because I think that's funny.
Yes.
And I feel like that's like double move that's fine to do, and it's just because it's a funny name. But
yes.
I don't think they necessarily need a tag finisher because they've both got solid finishers of their own.
They do.
So it's just like I feel like you could either do those in succession or just whip one out when you can. Kinda like the bitter end, right?
Yeah. There's some sort of miscue in the corner by Judgment Day. Commentary even mention it. Then the Birminghammer, because they are funny. Both from there, so that's cool.
That is funny.
To Damian Priest for 2. Lots of double teaming of Priest now, because a lot of this match was making Priest look really good. I feel like in terms of like he's
big
and they're beneath him kind of thing.
Which is weird.
Don't love that.
Been making him look so stupid with the Money in the Bank, so it's like pick a direction.
Double choke slam by Priest, coup de grace by Balor, and he pins...
Double South of Heaven? Okay.
He pins Pete Dunne for Judgment Day to retain. I thought...
Always Pete Dunne and JD McDonough.
I like this match. Things started off quickly, but when Judgment Day isolated Bate, it was pretty slow and uneventful.
Judgment Day are more boring than I thought.
Never seemed like a super high-paced... I thought Priest, again, was mostly presented like he's out of Bate and Dunne's league, and that's kind of annoying. I think the match was good.
I feel like Dunne's beaten him before in NXT, and also because I like Pete Dunne a lot.
So, as one of the four PLE matches, I was hoping for better. Bate and Dunne are awesome.
I like that SmackDown match way more. The one with DIY, yeah. I love that one.
I don't think this was a great match. Again, that was competitive, and you could see either team winning.
Yeah, it was competitive, and it just had a really good pace to it, and I feel like it was actually...
And this was like, you don't have a chance of winning, and you're really only competitive when it's not Damian Priest in the ring.
And even then, it's like he's going to get controlled.
The crowd liked it, I think, more than I did. I gave it 3.5. Like, I thought it was a good tag team match. Nothing wrong with it.
I give 3.5 too. I think I liked it maybe... I don't know if I liked it more. It was a little disappointing. I'm disappointed that Dunne got the pin also, which is annoying. I'm glad he got on a PLE so soon after he's back, but it wasn't like a banner one for him.
But they're a cool tag team, so hopefully people enjoyed it.
I like their team. I love I love Dunne, and I like Bate too. But that name is not good.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds so like. It just doesn't fit.
It's like it's the catch era, because now we've got 2...
No quarter catch crew. That makes more sense because they've got that more no catch technical style. It's just like it just doesn't feel like something like British strong style just fits, and I like that. And
it's what they do.
Yeah, and New Catch Republic just sounds so like forced, and it doesn't roll off the tongue. It doesn't feel like Pete Dunne. It's just like So there's still these little things where I don't know if it's just me. It might be, but it's just like some things feel too butch for me.
Too butch.
And I want that to die for good.
Then we get just far too long of a segment in here. It's Grayson Waller, got a great reaction.
I accidentally watched it, I think, before work, so it was just on the channel. So I could easily summarize it just from memory.
Go ahead. I watched it too, and I got bored and might not remember a lot
Rollins
of it.
announced he's going to be cleared soon. Cody challenges The Rock to a match. Theory does a Rock impression. Theory gets beat up.
Yeah, basically.
That was it. That's all you need to know.
And Waller drank a shoey on the way in with some UFC guy.
That matters not.
Right. So this was not... It just... I don't know. Just filling time, right?
It's one of those things, yeah.
It's cool for Waller. I like Waller and him at home. He got an awesome reaction, obviously, like a star, but...
They did this with him and Cody, I think, when that was when Jey Uso got switched brands at Payback, which is the one we didn't watch.
Yeah, this I didn't need, but it was there.
Yep.
Then we get the men's chamber match, and it's McIntyre and LA Knight starting out. Kevin Owens is the next one out, followed by Lashley, Orton, and Logan Paul, I think.
Wait, did Lynch start in the...
Yes, it's in my notes. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah,
they
and also
copy and pasted
incredibly telegraphed.
Yes. Lashley put Logan Paul through a chamber pod with a spear at one point.
Logan Paul was also drawing on his pod in Sharpie when he was waiting in there, which I thought was funny. He drew devil horns, and then he was he drew Kevin Owens as a fat
and then he was breathing
on
to it and drawing in his breath. McIntyre hit Lashley with 2 Claymore kicks and pinned him to eliminate him. Knight hit the blunt force trauma on Orton and McIntyre. AJ Styles shows up, right? I think when the door was open from Lashley.
I saw it was funny, and someone say they really flew him out all the way there just to do that.
Yeah, and he attacked Knight with a steel chair, and that allowed McIntyre to pin Knight to eliminate him. McIntyre tries to Claymore Owens, counters it with a pop-up powerbomb. Owens missed the pop-up and stunner on Orton, who eliminate who eliminates Owens with a pin after an RKO. Obviously, Chris Paul. Wow, that's an NBA player. Logan Paul puts on brass knuckles, but he kind of is like taking too much time here and gloating in whatever he does. And Orton hits an RKO and pins him for the elimination, and then McIntyre goes for a Claymore on Orton. Orton collapses. He's been selling his back like mad, and I thought he did a really effective job of selling his back.
And it works because it's kind of rooted in reality too.
Right. Orton suckers McIntyre in, hits the RKO, but Logan Paul, who had not yet exited, and I actually saw footage of it.
I did.
With him talking to the ref. It was good.
Yeah, he's playing possum or whatever. Yeah, I don't like that.
And he's like, I tricked you to the ref.
I don't like that he's kind of enjoyable sometimes.
He's good at this. Your mom even said, like, because she saw him and knows he's like a YouTube guy and was like, is he good? And I'm like, unfortunately, yes, he is.
It bothers me that he's
for
good.
The amount of time he's wrestled, he is very good.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, he hits Orton with one lucky punch with the knuckles on, and that allows McIntyre to pin Orton. And as we both predicted, Drew McIntyre wins, and he will face Seth Rollins, I assume, at WrestleMania, right? So, I thought this was another good chamber match, right?
It was definitely my preferred chamber match. I feel like the star power is more even, although it was still obvious. I feel like it was a nice star power.
It felt similar to the women's in some ways.
Yeah,
but,
that's fair.
Like Drew went the distance like Lynch. I thought Orton selling the back was really good, and Logan Paul continues to be a really effective heel, right?
It is so funny to me that they ever tried to put him as a babyface because that's just ridiculous.
I thought it went by quickly. I enjoyed it. I saw it similar. It's like 3 3/4 stars, not quite 4 stars.
I'd agree with 3 3/4. I liked it. I'm happy McIntyre wins. I really hope he wins at Mania because I would just love that moment for him.
I think he should.
And I feel like everyone would love that, even though he's been like doing heel stuff lately. I feel like everyone knows that it's just like he hasn't gotten that moment that he deserves. And I feel like he really does deserve that. I really don't want them to cash in with Priest either. Like at least let him have that moment.
Cash in and fail and really make Drew strong.
At this point, I wouldn't care if they did that because they're wasting Priest away.
This is peak Drew right now.
This is peak Drew, and I really want him to get what he deserves. So I'm happy he wins here. It was fairly obvious. Like if we had done picks, there would be no discrepancies.
Main event, air quotes, is Australian native Rhea Ripley, and did you know
Australian born,
which
that does not excuse this for me. I don't give a crap where she's born. Don't main event with her.
And as everyone predicted, Ripley successfully defends. So Jax got a lot in this. She looked dominant for parts of it. She hit a Samoan drop off the middle ropes for near fall. She hit one on an announce table and then did a elbow quote drop through the table
from the office chair, which looked so bad. It was like, and someone's like, you tried jumping off an office chair. I'm like, don't do it, it's dumb.
Jax hit the Annihilator on Ripley for a near fall.
Bonsai.
And the finish, it was Ripley with a superplex and kind of impressive riptide, right? It's no easy feat.
Yeah.
And she retains, what would that took like 14 minutes basically. So
felt longer.
And the women's chamber was 32, the men's was 36, and the tag team was 17 minutes
plus the segment.
So I all things considered, like, I get that it's Ripley's homecoming. This isn't a main event.
Yeah, but I feel like Ripley could main event against someone worthwhile, so at least we get like a good match in a
That's what I mean. I think they should have planned better and had a bigger match here.
Because this one just felt like anything else. Like, I feel like you could have given Ripley something worth main eventing with. Because I'm not saying she doesn't deserve it. I'm saying Jax doesn't deserve it.
It's a tough spot because you know that Ripley's not losing before Mania. So even if you build something super hot, like, everyone knows what's happening. So I guess they're just like, whatever, heat up Nia Jax, throw her in there quickly.
I've been saying this. They need to stop trying to make her look good. And keyword trying. Because, like,
this is the best version of her is all I hear.
No, she's so bad still. She's not
best
good.
Version of her doesn't mean it's good.
She's not. I don't even think you could say that. She's just like, and I don't mean to be rude, but she's just too big to do anything good. Like, and it's just like, it's always been a thing. Like,
she's slow.
When they're too big, they just like, no, I'm not even like too tall. Like, Omos sucks too.
Yes.
It's just like she can't do anything. She's too slow. She's not capable of much. She does too many like corner splashes.
And a lot of the women can't do a lot to her either.
Yeah.
Right? It's limiting for them.
It limits everyone. So she's really just not, she's never been good. And I don't think we've ever liked her.
I gave this 3 stars. I thought it was about as good as you're going to get, meaning it was fine. And it was like slow pace, a few impressive power spots. like solid, but the problem is you don't want solid on the main event of a PLE.
I'm going to go meaner. I'm going to say 2 3/4.
Yeah. So overall, like a fine show. Nothing I say you have to go out and see, but the chamber matches were entertaining. A really
middle of the road show, just because it didn't feel like it was just so predictable. But it wasn't like Fastlane where it was bad.
It was like, oh crap, this pay-per-view's here before Mania. It's like they almost forgot about it, and we're like, well, paint by numbers.
I think people said like, because they used to do TLC and Hell in a Cell and this every year, and it's like degrading the stipulation. I feel like with Chamber, it's okay to do the yearly PLE because it's like. With Hell in a Cell and TLC, I feel like there's an argument to maybe where it's like those should be feud stipulations,
I think so.
And like could that make sense to me? But
whenever the feud warrants it at any PLE,
right? But for me with the chamber match, it's like it's this multi-man thing, and it feels like kind of like a Rumble for me. To me, this like supplementary Mania setup, I think I like that because there's no feud where you can naturally set up a chamber match. You know what I mean? You just be like throwing it on. So like, because I feel like you know how they just throw chamber here. I feel like if, let's say, you could put the chamber on any PLE of the year, you would still be just throwing it up for something to do. At least it's like you're getting it here, because I feel like with the first few chamber matches before, they designated like No Way Out or this for it to be every year. It's like you just kind of throw it up. So I feel like this being a yearly thing is okay.
I don't mind it.
It's not going to be...
They're usually good matches.
It's never going to be used for anything else, right? Because it's one of those big multi-man events. It's kind of like Money in the Bank. It's like the designated spot. You know what I mean?
Doesn't bother me.
For sure.
Overall, decent show. Nothing you needed to go out and see. No. But like if I don't know.
Nothing I was staying up for.
If I'm giving the show an overall rating, I would say, so what do we go to 10 for that? Like 7, probably around there.
Yeah.
It was watchable, but nothing amazing.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into the stuff we do every week, which is first we'll take a look at this past Wednesday's episode of AEW Dynamite. All right, you ready to talk about Dynamite? I just realized today I watched a ton of wrestling. I watched all of Dynamite, half of NXT, all of TNA today after work, powered through all of it.
A lot of that.
And didn't skip, like I don't skip anything on Dynamite at all. I only skip like entrances on the other stuff. So pretty much watch everything. Crazy. But anyways, what do we have? Dynamite this week was a mixed bag for me.
Agreed. So we hear from Hangman Adam Page kicking us off. He talks about when AEW started, it was a goal for him and to rise to people's expectations. He said he thinks he's done that when he mentioned his world title win and run in 2021 as the biggest accomplishment of his career. He said it hurts him to have the opportunity again and have this injury. He said he complained about the 3-way and he said he wanted to have a singles match, but it turns out it's going to be the wrong two people. He announces that he's not going to be able to compete for the title in the main event at Revolution. Then Swerve came out with Nana. He talked about how they've been to war a lot in the past 6 months, and he might have crossed the line. He said he didn't expect this to happen. He said he targeted Page because he respected him. He told Page he suffered this unfortunate fate, and he said you can't stop destiny, and his destiny is to become the champion. Samoa Joe comes out as the title was mentioned. He stood on the ramp in a suit. Where is it? He said it looked like two bitter enemies trying to hug it out. While he said he had truths for the audience. He said, remind him he's the real man around here. He called Page hop along, mocking his injury. He said their battles tested hungry and accomplished wrestlers, but he said they're hungry because he's starving them. And he...
Love that.
What do you say? You're not going to be eating come dinner time or something? He reminded them who he is while saying whether it's one or both of them, he's whooping their asses. Swerve came back saying he went from being unemployed to handling pay-per-views, went from being cruiserweight to challenging for the world title. He said he'll do whatever it takes because he went into with the Wrestling Academy and beat up an 18-year-old child, threatened a baby in someone's house. He ripped on Joe. He said he might have to go back to doing commentary in a poncho, which was funny.
Yeah.
From the WrestleMania where it rained out for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
Swerve said he'll make history, or he's on the verge of making history. He'll become an AEW World Champion at Revolution. And he was doing like this Who's House thing, and then he got hit in the back with Page's crutch, and Page him in the head. So then he was like out cold, and then Page is like shouting like a madman, "You will never have it. You won't be the champion. You won't be the champion. I'll be the champion." Something like that.
Yeah, I thought this was fantastic segment. I'd actually should put it on the list of things I really enjoyed because I'll forget it later in the year. But just like I started out confused because I'd heard that it's a work and that Paige isn't actually hurt, but then he's coming out. Remember, he sounds like a baby face, and when then Swerve music hits, I go to you, what is this, the double turn back now? Like,
yeah,
Swerve's
I
gonna
knew
come
it
out
wasn't
and
because
mock him.
I knew Hangman. I knew Hangman was bruising, but
And so, and then Samoa Joe was awesome. Basically, like,
Samoa Joe's a perfect world champion, and I almost don't want it to ever end, but even though it has to.
And he's just pissed that, like, why are you guys worried about each other? Like, you need to worry about me, right? And Joe is a professional, so he puts them over, saying they're accomplished and whatever.
I like
whatever.
that because like then he's gonna rip into them, which is like I love when they do it because like he's done that. MJF does that. Usually Moxley does a really good job of that. Like it's okay to put them over.
And then the intensity that kicks in when he's like, "You're hungry because I'm starving you," right?
I love that line. That was cold.
It was, and then Swerve's immediate response was awesome too. And then
I like Hangman's ruse because it plays into that storyline. He's obsessed with beating Swerve, so he not only got to jump on him, but he's also like, again, just shouting, "You're not gonna win it."
So I love all three of these guys, and I'm pretty excited they're in this main event orbit together. And I thought this segment was awesome. Like, if you're gonna put a segment first thing, this is how good it should be.
This is a really good go home segment too.
I thought
looking
so.
at it from that
and
lens.
I thought overall not a great go home show.
This was
awesome
for sure.
Yes.
Great segment to start the show. Hangman's great because he was more babyface at first, but paid off nicely. I thought so too. Like he did a really good job of slipping back into the Hangman that we're used to.
Yes,
I think, which is, again, I think he's so underrated when he does promos and stuff. I feel like people don't credit him enough because he's just able to slip back into the Hangman that we're used to. But then he's also doing really good with his heel work, I think, and I feel like that's flying under the radar.
Yes,
because I feel like we've been complimenting it, but I don't think I've seen that. I haven't seen that opinion much.
No, I haven't either.
Swerve's still good too. Again, I just feel like it's short of what we really want from him, just because it's dialed back as kind of a babyface. Right?
Yeah,
like he did mention the things he's done here, which at least I like that he's kind of like MJF, still acknowledging what he's done.
I tried to kill you. You tried to kill me.
I went in your house. I killed Nick Wayne. Blah blah blah. But it's still not quite which is why I didn't want to be a babyface, because you can't. I guess you can't keep him the same, right? But Joe comes in and he always kills it. His point holds true. Swerve and Hangman are gunning for the title, yet focused on each other. And Joe's barely mentioned by them. I like that he's always reasserting his place in this. And it's not in a way that he's like this champ whining and begging for attention, but a way that commands that attention as like the top dog that he is. I really like that because he's asserting dominance. Again, not begging to be in the conversation.
That's right.
He is the conversation. And Swerve retaliated him as well. I really liked that, and I thought Hangman swerving Swerve with the crutch. I saw a post where it's like Swerve hung the Hangman, and then Hangman Swerve, which I really liked.
Yeah, you would like that.
I thought that was a really good way to end this, and just the obsessed yelling at the end makes him look crazy, and I love it. Just the mustache look, I don't love, but I feel like now that I know he's turning heel, it does work for that.
Yeah, he's unhinged now.
I feel like as like the babyface, it doesn't work. So it just looks weird. I feel like just the normal kind of stubble beard works, but I feel like with just like when he goes like wide-eyed, crazy looking with the mustache, it works perfectly.
Yeah, this was an awesome segment. For sure. I was super happy. Mm-hmm. This show, we're going to talk about it anyways, but it was
peaked early,
front loaded for me. Yes.
Yeah. Young Bucks arrive. Renee interviews them when they enter the building. Asks about the Revolution match. And asks about Flair. Nick says their meeting went great, and that's all he'll say. Matt asks if she's seen Sting yet. I don't know what I'm doing.
Tongue twister?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of S's there. She's seen Sting. There we go.
Sibilance.
Yeah. And since it's his final Dynamite, they're dying to see him conduct his exit interview as they're holding the white baseball bats. Camera follows the Bucks as they look for Sting, and we cut to commercial. I think I speak for both of us when I say it was fine. The shtick is mellowed out. I feel like they're a little better, but the involvement of Ric Flair is completely unwelcome.
Correct. My note is I don't like it, but I dislike it less, I think. But yeah, again, no Flair needed.
I feel like the Bucks are fine. They're starting to find their footing in this a little. Like, I'm not saying I love it, but I'm feeling it's not like egregious.
It's less annoying. I still don't really like it, but and I'll talk about it later with the
I know you were
stuff.
saying you're starting to, and then Ric Flair comes in.
Right. It feels appropriate, and I'll talk about why later, I guess, with the more Sting stuff coming up.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that, but
we will.
It has to happen. Next we get our opener match thing. It's Eddie Kingston FTR versus Blackpool Combat Club, and I was saying to you, I find it interesting they always come into Mox's theme, but it works for me.
It does.
I like it.
And this is on paper, at least, an awesome looking match.
Great bunch. Danielson holds cash and his surfboard starts leaving open for a jab from Mox. It connected really flush. That was nice. Oh my god, I actually typed hardwood. That's awesome.
Nice.
That is awesome. Hardwood hot tag flurry, because I think they botched that on the first figure he got.
Yeah.
So it's funny.
He just seems to mesh with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's simple, but he's effective, so it works with anybody really. Tiger Bomb the Mox from Dax for 2. Danielson broke the pin there. Mox and Claudio hit Dax with the heart attack. Eddie. Oh, I was confused with Eddie for some reason. Eddie tags in and we get a chop exchange between him and Danielson. They go heavy on that, obviously. Danielson thumbs the eye, but Eddie comes back with an exploder suplex, and Claudio gets one as well. Claudio swings Eddie into the basement dropkick from Danielson, shades of Kid and Cesaro.
Mm-hmm.
Mox falls with the pile driver. Danielson covers him for 2. Hurricane from Eddie, followed by an electric chair bulldog combo from FTR. Danielson for a 2 count, but the other Blackpool guys make the save for the pin. We get a sequence where we get Smash Contraption to Claudio, Paradigm Shift to Cash, Dax hits a Brainbuster to Mox, Busaiku knee to Dax, Eddie hits a shoulder capture suplex to Danielson, and then later on Danielson hits another Busaiku knee, this time to Eddie, followed by the wrist capture stomps, which look wicked, and then he chokes him out in a triangle for the win.
And celebrates and taunts him and whatnot. Speaking of awesome tag team stuff, I did not mention GYV hit a Doomsday on the floor.
They do the Suicide Doomsday, right? I really love that.
Yes, it looked awesome. It looks crazy.
I remember that from the first time I saw them.
Anyways, this match I thought took a little while to get into it, but that's, I think, in hindsight, because it was going to get a lot of time. Like, I think this was over 20 minutes, possibly. I really enjoyed the second half of this. I could have lived without the synchronized bits at the end, like the...
Yeah, like, I like the hammer and elbow thing. I think it looks cool, but I hate when they do it synchronized, because it just makes it feel like... That just doesn't feel like something they would do.
Really fun trios match, like a slug physical trios match, as you would expect from these three, and I'm guessing maybe this signifies Eddie gets the win against Danielson after getting choked out here. But
that's fair.
Yeah, I feel like... But yeah, this was a very entertaining trios match, I thought. For
sure. Yeah, really strong TV match, as I'd expect. Fantastic group of talent, this one. I like everyone here. And I expected something good, which they delivered on. It's more of that pay-per-view preview stuff that we don't love. But I feel like at least we get some different dynamics in here with Eddie against Blackpool and then Danielson wrestling FTR and bits. And regardless, it's a really stellar crop of guys, so I can't complain too much.
Nope.
The other nitpick might have been, I think you mentioned, the lack of rule enforcement at times. It's not always a problem. It just was a little noticeable.
I even asked you, is this the Lucha rules? Because the ref is like, every time someone new comes in, he was
I think they kept it consistent, though.
I think he was making a gesture that I thought meant, like, you're the legal man, but he was making a gesture saying you're supposed to tag, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. Danielson was great here as always. He's so much more entertaining as a heel because he gets to be such a prick, and he can kind of bend the rules and limitations with his offense, like kind of push boundaries a little more. Dax livening things up with his hot tag flurry. He's simple, but he gets the pace back up. And Eddie had some good exchanges with Mox and Danielson. Claudio and Cash were good too, but not a lot notable from them. The end stretch with all the big moves was fun and entertaining. Danielson getting the win over Eddie makes sense, and like you said, probably means Eddie wins later.
I think so, and that's okay. That's what Danielson's in this final run to do, right? Is help people, so that's fine.
Next we get Jericho interview. We're showing a highlight package of young Jericho and CMLL wrestling Atlantis Senior because he's wrestling Atlantis Junior tonight. Just in case it wasn't already clear how old Jericho is, pretty sure I saw he's in the main event too, which is gross. Jericho talks about wrestling in CMLL 30 years ago, I think he said.
Yeah.
Jesus, that's not okay. He talks about the guys he worked with and how Atlantis was a good partner and mentor. When AEW started working with CMLL, he requested work with the junior to return the favor and teach him some lessons. He says, show him what he can do, and then he says Spanish things.
Yeah, this annoyed me because I don't mind if that's a real story about him and his dad and whatever. That's great, but like, because Jericho's a babyface, it annoys me because he's doing this, I'm going to help this young guy and give him an opportunity, when that's not what he does.
That's not what he does.
Like, we're always saying, like, nobody has come out of a faction or anything with him looking
Action
better.
Action ready.
Right? So for him to be like, well, I'm going to do what I do and elevate another talent and give him his moment, bugs me.
I don't think that's what he will do, because it's just a one-off CMLL guy. We're not going to see this guy again.
If it was a heel, I would like it, because it's funny.
I don't think that's what he did do, not to spoil things. 3, why is he still here? Like,
if this were a tongue-in-cheek, he's saying this because he knows he doesn't do it and he's a heel, maybe, but no, this is him.
It is not. Even if it was heel, I wouldn't think he's that aware.
This annoyed me more than anything.
I do not care. This means nothing to me, and it's unnecessary. Jericho wrestling, pass.
Yep, fair.
Next, we get William Ospreay speaking. He's finally here. He thanks the fans for their support, and he talked about how in November when he did the pre-signing kind of deal at Full Gear, he had to finish his New Japan obligations, which was getting beat up by David Finlay in a cage with a bunch of wooden boards.
That's right.
And those obligations are now done. He talked about being in Barbados, and then his luggage was lost, but he found it, and then he said he looked like Kermit the Frog, something like that, because he's wearing all green. He said he's here for full-time work, but he said he's not exactly new here because he beat Cassidy in his first AEW pay-per-view match. He beat Omega in Canada. I was there. He beat Jericho at Wembley. I wasn't there.
Nope.
But I did watch it. Not live, though. And he said he's ready to keep it going. He's rolling with the Don Callis. So I'm going to say his name, and he appears. I believe in Don Callis. He comes out with Takeshita and Hobbs out to, I think, one of the guys on commentary, might have been Excalibur or Taz. He said best music in the business.
Yeah, one note.
I thought was funny. He's booed heavily. Like him and Dom get the constant heat, which is awesome. Callis just gets drowned out.
Yep.
He said there's nothing he likes more than a good family reunion. He talked about the talent and his faction being an embarrassment of riches, which is I do like the roster he's assembled, but I feel like you're gonna drop it real soon. He bragged about Ospreay being Omega and Jericho and talks about all the things they did together. Nice choice of words. He said, how do you top that? You have not the match of the year, the match of the decade. Talking about Ospreay and Takeshita, of course. He talked about how it's like Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen going hard at practice, then coming together to win championships. Sport ball reference. He said the real winner will be the Don Callis family. He wanted them to shake hands, and so they did shake hands, but then they did the thing where like Ospreay is going to walk away, but Takeshita kind of pulls him in, and does like reversed. Little brothers him.
Yeah.
And he tries to walk away, and Ospreay's like, nah.
And then they're like nose to nose, basically. But...
Yeah. I saw someone edit that with like romantic music, which was really funny.
Yeah, I mean, this was good. I liked because you can see that Callis is already grading on Ospreay, right? Like, first of all, he interrupted him as he's doing his, like, I'm officially on Dynamite, and then it was like, taking credit for Ospreay's stuff, you can see Ospreay's not thrilled with it. So it looks like we're going to get what we want, which is Ospreay out of this group, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, so maybe my Takeshita winning theory starts to look like there's more...
I feel like there's more merit to that. I might have gone that route. I don't know.
Right. So, I enjoy Callis and Takeshita. I like this group, and I just want them to be presented like they're stars, and this match will be awesome. So let's get to it.
Yeah, I love Ospreay. I'm glad he's finally here. It was a good promo to start us off. He's got an interesting sound to him because he's got like that cool, raspy voice, but he sounds really cool. And he's got some charisma about him, so he's just enjoyable to watch. I like you remind us of his history, which is good because he's not like it feels like a debut, but it's also not.
No,
technically.
We've seen him.
He's even wrestled on Dynamite quite a few times. And it was interesting because he's clearly got a babyface reaction. I think he will be, but he's kind of heel, still affiliated with Callis, but like you can tell he's kind of just his reactions are like kind of agreeing with Callis, but not completely like Takeshita. I like Callis saying they did those things together. It was a nice touch for him. Takeshita looks so cool, just being all cocky in the handshake with Ospreay or whatever. I like that. He's definitely out after Revolution. I hope Fletcher joins him and we get Ospreay and Aussie Open when Davis comes back. I think that's what we need.
Push him to the moon.
Then we get an Eddie Kingston interview. It's cut off by the Bucks, though, saying they're looking for Sting, and they mocked him, saying they should implement a dress code, which I thought was funny.
I didn't love that. Like, I don't think Eddie Kingston lets them stick a baseball bat in his face like that. And I know he said something, but, like, I guess the argument is, well, he's the boss, or they're the boss sort of thing, I guess. But, yeah. It's on brand for the Bucks, I guess, right now. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought they were making fat jokes about him, but then they took the safer route of like wardrobe.
That too.
Like they were just like, you wear track pants and Timbs or whatever. Yeah. Should we institute a dress
I like
code?
the Bucks here a little bit. I think like being dicks to Eddie is a good way to get heat because
it is. Everyone.
We all love Eddie. And I like his facial reaction, just kind of going like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And I assume the Bucks searching for Sting will be so long, just because.
Feels like it.
And it might have been.
You were correct.
Next we get Orange Cassidy versus Nick Wayne in AEW International Title Open Challenge, which I like this because I was saying to you, this is back to kind of what I want. It's like Cassidy defending against guys who have potential, like guys with talent, not facing like Jarrett or Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
I don't think he did face Jeff Hardy, but Jeff Hardy's been getting unnecessary singles matches this year, so throwing him under the bus.
Yep.
But some notables from the match, there was a diving moonsault the outside from Nick, which was nice. Cassie rolled out of the ring to avoid a dive, and then Nick ran and hit a Typicon heel to the outside, which was nice. Christian tripped Cassie on the turnbuckles, and he was taunting him too much, which got him caught, and the whole faction ejected. Tilt roll DT from Cassie for 2, which I thought Nick Wayne sold good. Really nice bridging fisherman suplex from Nick for 2. He's got some really cool stuff.
He has some bridging stuff that he likes.
German suplex from Nick. Then Cassidy catches him with a beach break for 2. Off a distraction from the Kingdom, Nick hits a bridging dragon suplex for 2, which is a match ender. We learned this week.
Yeah, it looked good.
And then Rocky Romero and Trent take out OGK. The finish came when Nick was trying to expose the turnbuckle, but he's caught, then eats an orange punch, and Cassie retains.
Yeah, good match as expected, but like result never in doubt. Maybe a little more time than I expected. A lot of extracurricular activity in this one, right? Which happened again later in the show, I think, too. I think it's a smart choice to have Wayne get experience against an opponent like Cassidy.
I feel like we haven't seen a lot of him, at least on the flagship show.
And part of Cassidy's thing, right, is like people get lots of offense against him.
Exactly. This is why I like to see from his run.
So yeah, like Wayne gets this showcase stuff. We know he doesn't win, but that's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to nitpick, maybe Cassidy should be able to beat Wayne cleaner and quicker, but
I like seeing more from Nick Wayne.
I didn't find the post-match stuff very effective since like Undisputed Kingdom is just cold, right?
I don't care, but
I know it's sad, but I don't either.
I wanted to like this group,
but the match was totally fine, and Nick Wayne looks good.
Yeah, I wanted to like them, but I can't.
Nope.
It was a solid TV match, and these are the Cassie matches I like to see. Someone who's got a cool moveset can benefit from a TV match. I need Cassie meaningless multi-man matches that don't defend the title, or defending on a show I don't watch, or defending against people I don't want to see.
Right.
Which tracks, I guess. But like these are the kind of things I like to see. Nick got ample time to shine here, and that's what I like. I like what I saw from him again. He's super common in the ring for someone so young. He's got some really sweet moves. He does really well. So I like to see him here, and it was a good showcase. I knew Cassidy would win, but it was a good match. Post-match, I don't care. I don't want Roddy to win. No offense to Roddy. It's just this has gone ice cold for me.
It really has.
Yeah. And guess I'm going to blame Wardlow.
Well, injuries are the
Wardlow.
Biggest factor, probably.
Wardlow's the literal biggest factor, though.
Yeah, I guess.
So, Wardlow's bigger than an ankle.
That's true. Depends how swollen.
I'd like to see that. Next we get Bang Bang Scissor Gang. Austin and the Acclaimed are going to wrestle on Collision. Austin seems displeased.
Yeah, that was what I took away, too, that he's not happy.
Well, it's weird because he's been playing off before, and I don't like that. I don't mind if that's starting the split, but if he splits from Bullet Club Gold, then I will be sad.
It should be he's the first one to go, and then the other ones eventually come to their senses, even if there's a little bit of dissension for a bit.
I loathe this group so much. They're killing a group I love dearly. I don't want this at all. And the suffering gave me the real Bang Bang Gang.
Yeah, I'm hoping that we speed through the breakup process.
I will say this every week until it happens.
We both are.
This is hurting me inside.
I don't like it.
It's just, I hate it so much. The fact that Jay White said everyone loves the Acclaimed this week just hurts.
What is anybody getting from this? Is either group helped by this?
Jay White got a belt that means nothing?
I guess, but like, I don't know. It's nothing we need anymore.
Jay White's doing this hurts me on a personal level.
His babyface promos are just not the same.
It doesn't, it's lacking what he's had, and it's so unnecessary because he's so good. You don't need to do this.
Nope.
You didn't. Again, I'm gonna go back to this. There was a purpose that they were meant to serve.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't even touched.
No,
they
haven't mentioned it.
Touched it. It's ridiculous. I hate it. I hate this.
We hate this.
I hate it so much. Anyways, next we get Chris Statlander versus Sky Blue.
So hold on. So Stokely was successful in his recruitments?
Should
I know this? Was this on shows I don't watch?
He did help Willow that one week, didn't he?
He did, but it was like, I was like, I guess maybe the point is she'll realize he can be useful, but then I never saw anything else. And now suddenly he's got both of them.
I think it's
is it too much to ask to get like a 30-second recap of what?
I'd like that, honestly.
like honestly, it's like cut off someone's entrance or something and give me like
Sky Blue.
this happened on Collision or whatever. So because all of a sudden it went from he's recruiting them and they're not interested to he has both of them now.
Yeah, trusting that I watch everything is a bold move.
Not
I
fair.
feel like it'd be different if you're on Collision and you're trusting to watch Dynamite. That makes sense because Dynamite's the main show. It's been here the whole time. It's also the easiest to watch in my opinion because it's not on 10 on a Friday. It's not on a weekend where people do things.
Right.
Dynamite's by far the easiest one to watch. It's also not ROH, which means nothing.
True.
ROH is dumb. Honestly, someone just kill ROH. Like, Old Yeller, that thing, you know? That's a weird reference.
That is.
Anyways, Statlander lifts Blue in a military press, throws into the front row onto some crowd plants, which is like, obviously it's crowd plants, but it's really weird that they chose to put crowd plants in this match. Like, it's so random.
They just look like regular dudes, you know? Couple of middle-aged men. Nope.
Indie wrestlers. It was weird.
Yeah.
Springboard back elbow from Statlander. Running uppercut in the corner. Running in the corner. And a scoop slam from Statlander for 2. Roundhouse and a German suplex on the apron from Statlander. Destroyer super kick. Small package pin for 2 from Sky Blue. Solid.
Nice destroyer. Out of nowhere.
So finish came when Hathaway wants Statlander to use a chain on Blue. Maybe to do a spear.
As the ref is kind of right there.
Yeah. Which makes Stoke look dumb.
I thought so.
But so then while the ref is distracted with Stoke and Willow, Julia Hart hits Statlander with the TBS title, which makes Stoke look dumb again.
And hits is in quotation marks.
Yes. And then Blue wins with her Code Blue I don't like.
I actually thought the match was pretty good. Like, Statlander looks dominant at times, and then Blue had some good flurries along the way, including that destroyer that I was not expecting. Finish wasn't very good, though. Stokely looks stupid and cartoonish, and he's just coming off of the, like, convincing people he can be an asset as a manager. And he screws up, like, right away.
He, like, and really stupidly, too.
And the belt shot was weak, unfortunately. And you can, like, forget that Julia Hart's a champion of anything because you don't really see her much anymore.
But it's weird because I don't really want to see her. I don't know.
I like her. I think she's fine. Is she a champion? Maybe not, but she's getting better and people seem to like her. But yeah, like, good match. Did not enjoy the finish, I guess.
The finish, was probably the weak one, but I actually thought it was surprisingly solid for a Diamond Women's match. It just felt better than we usually get. I thought Sky Blue looked better than usual.
Me too.
And I always enjoy Statlander in the ring. Our complaints are not in the ring with her.
Everywhere else, yeah. And I don't know if that's her fault or someone else.
It's just because there's nothing anywhere else. But I think she's really good in the ring. If she had a character, they could focus on her because I really like her. But
I said, like, she could be their, like, Rhea Ripley, right? Because she's that...
Similar build, similar style.
Yeah, so they just need to figure out the character, and they didn't know what to do with Ripley for a while either. So there's time.
I felt like there was some actual solid action here, and I asked you to double check. I don't think it was half cut off by a commercial break, which is
I don't think
good because
so.
I felt like we actually got something somewhat substantial here.
Yeah,
we actually got to see something, and it ended up all right. Nothing amazing by any means, but better than what we usually see for sure. I thought Sky Blue had a couple things that I thought looked good, which she does sometimes. So that's not bad. The best being that Destroyer, which I thought Statlander sold really well. I thought Statlander had some cool stuff too, like the cornflake and the German on the apron. Finish was not great. Gets Sky Blue to win, I guess, and furthers the storyline that I'm not up on.
Right.
Buck search for Sting. They arrive in his locker room. Matt says Sting seemed crazy angry last week. Nothing's for sure with him. The one thing that's for sure is nothing's for sure.
Mind games.
Nick says he's prepared. They barge into his locker room where it's red lit, which is the best thing in wrestling. And there's baseball bats hanging around all around the room. Matt looks at the camera through the mirror as we end it.
It's just a little mind game thing.
It was a little thing. It was fine. It really didn't do much for me. Nothing but it was offensive or bad. Just whatever. I did see that the bats were a callback to Sting's last Nitro in WCW, so that's cool, I guess. I don't remember. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I told you, I don't know if I'm reading too much into it or if it's just me looking for things that isn't there. I like to think that them barging into Sting's locker room and talking about it is a nod to Punk's accusation that they kicked the door down in the brawl out incident. Just like it reminded me of that at least. Like, and I thought that it would be a funny tongue in cheek reference if that's the case because it's just funny to me. Next we get Atlantis Jr. versus Lionheart. Chris Jericho.
Correct.
Corazon de Leon.
Different persona. Barely recognized them.
This is our main event.
Mm-hmm.
Just by the way. No Judas. No
That's
Judas.
nice, actually.
That's true. Get some generic ass theme for Lionheart or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
And Lance here, remember he was like wrapping the towel on the back of his neck and like it was
my
so
note
dumb.
says devastating towel.
It looks so stupid.
Like an old man is pulling you down onto the rope with a towel, and like nothing Jericho could do about it.
Yeah.
It's like as in a master lock or something.
Master lock challenge, but it's just an old man pulling on your neck with a towel.
Yeah. Or like the Dempsey pinfall we're going to talk about later. That was amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Like, unescapable.
Yeah. Suicide dive from Atlantis Jr. Jericho gets catapulted face first in the ring post. Atlantis Jr. went for a powerbomb on the stairs. Gets sent into the stairs with a Hurricane Rana from Jericho. Avalanche Bulldog from Jericho for 2 looked kind of lame. Crowd count punches and a Frankenstein from Jericho, which looked kind of lame because he does that every match. And I could type it without looking at it. Finish. Jericho counters out of the backbreaker submission that Lucha dude was doing and locks him in the walls. Jericho, old man, throws in the dangerous towel.
Quickly towel thrown in.
Which is, do we really need to, like, it didn't make sense to me.
Jericho's just that devastating, right? That you got to throw in the towel. This did not do much for me. I don't think Atlantis Jr. is as impressive as a couple of the other. Who's the guy we really liked? The bigger.
Cesaro.
Yeah, he's cool. And Jericho's Jericho at this point, right? So I don't think it was bad. I just wasn't interested in it. And then the post-match, like, picking him up and raising his hand and, like, facing off with the dad, but then hugging the dad was all...
Yeah, because, like, they're
none of us care about any of these people. This felt like just let Jericho be self-indulgent.
Yeah, it's, well, like,
I don't know these people.
Care about this.
This isn't a moment for anyone.
There's no story to this, or very little story. And at that, it's not one I care about. It's not one that's going to be relevant in future weeks. And I didn't want to see Jericho wrestle. He was, like, fine, but there's a couple things where they had to take multiple attempts, I feel like especially him lifting Jericho.
There was a definite take 2 out on the floor, I think.
Yeah, I think it was the powerbomb thing, remember?
Oh, yeah, he struggled. I struggled to lift Jericho.
Yeah, Atlantis guy was fine, but nothing spectacular. And like I think, like you said, more interested in other CMLL guys we've seen.
Yes, for sure.
Like Hachicero, or even the Mascara Dorada guy.
Yeah, he was cool too.
No idea why this had to be her this prominent or this long, other than to appease Jericho.
I think that's it.
But even still, like, why?
He's some sort of
do it on
wizard.
Collision.
He's a wizard.
That was funny though.
That was. He's been funny.
Finally, there's the thing for Sting's last Dynamite. Bucks pull Sting masks off some fans in the crowd. One of them's Darby, who jumps over and attacks them. Nick hits the PK to Darby from the apron. Bat beat down Darby in the ring. EVP trigger. Matt motions for Ric Flair to come down because Matt is just a dumb bastard. Bucks hold Darby for a bat chop from Flair, who lightly pokes Nick in the eyes and throws lame old man jabs at Matt until Nick low blows him. Sting music hits.
The low blow was weak too.
Yeah. Unlike
they don't want to hurt
unlike
him.
The other week where they just absolutely kicked
the greatest low blow ever.
The greatest low blow of all time. Like a couple weeks ago where they just absolutely kicked the crap out of Darius's balls.
Yeah.
Sting's music hits. Bucks walk off the ramp like a couple of dummies to meet Sting, but he descends from the rafters to ringside. Both Bucks have bats, yet Sting's able to get the upper hand on them. Scorpion Death drop to Nick. Game, set, match.
Yeah, so this was like trashy sports entertainment stuff and real 90s vibe, which makes sense, right? Because that's in line with Sting, because I was saying last week, he's always been more sports entertainment than I really love. Like, I've liked Sting along the way, but never been a huge fan. So the Flair involvement is just sad. I think we can agree.
It is sad. It was not good.
And Sting descending from the rafters, it's a callback. It's cheesy. It's not for me, but I guess people really do like it, and whatever, it's his final run, so go for it. So this was all like 90s callbacks and had that whole vibe, like very sports entertainment of the 90s, which is on brand for Sting. So I guess go for it. But I
guess because it's his last hurrah.
It's just not for me. That's all.
Yeah, it was unnecessary. It really didn't add anything to the build for me, and it got Ric Flair doing more things. So it was a negative, if anything. Getting that out of the way, Flair's bit was so stupid, lame, sad, not needed. He looked like absolute crap and just made the Bucks look dumb for having to deal with that. Like, yeah, the Bucks just look stupid.
Yep, they didn't look great.
They look
taking any offense from him.
Yeah, taking any offense from Flair, and then look stupid twice going up the ramp to wait for Sting.
Yeah.
Why not stay in the ring? Because like then you could see him coming from the crowd. You could see him descend in front of the ring. You would see him coming.
Mm-hmm.
It's so stupid. Sting's drop down is cool if you're a heavy nostalgia person, but me, I could not care less. I guess cool to do that one more time, but at least they didn't own hurt him. Is that mean?
Yeah, that's mean.
But at least it didn't happen.
Well, and you said too, like, wouldn't the EVPs know about this?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, shouldn't they get a pass with them?
The paperwork and safety stuff you have to go through to have him do that? They
just
should be
went
aware.
over their heads to Tony
I guess
Khan.
maybe they're hands-off managers,
Or like they
delegate.
They went above them to Tony Khan,
Could
which
be.
that's headcanon though. Like
Could be.
It's just I don't know.
That's right.
Anyways, thoughts on the show because it was a thing.
Front loaded, right? Like peaked early, as you said. I didn't think it was a very strong go home show. Loved the opening segment. Really enjoyed the trios match, and then it kind of leveled off after that. I thought we ended with a mediocre match and a segment that just was not for me. So it was like almost a mirror image. No, is that the right term? The
Pretty
opposite
much.
of the beginning. You know what I mean? Loved the match and the segment.
Well, it was mirrored in the fact that we have a good segment, good match, and then bad segment.
That's what I mean.
Or bad match, bad segment. So it's like it is flipped over.
Like the women's match, fine. Wayne Cassidy too, but they had a lot of moving parts to them, which is not my favorite. But I thought fine show could have been better for a go home. I went B-.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Solid show overall. It started out really strong with a great opening segment, followed by a strong opening match. Probably show highlights for me in addition to the Ospreay promo, which I enjoyed because it's just good to have him here, and I'm really looking forward to what he does.
Mm-hmm.
Women's match was thankfully above the standards, so that's a positive for the show at least, I think. And Orange Cassidy Nick Wayne was good too. Unfortunately, the show ended on a real down note with a mediocre main event that wasn't worthwhile and wasn't really worth anything, and a pointless ending segment that I didn't really like. Solid go home show, like in parts and not good in other parts. Could have been a little better. Overall, I think B-. It was okay.
Yeah, nothing amazing, but nothing terrible either.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, let's move into a little bit of trivia now and take a break from breaking down the weekly wrestling, and it's a segment we call Off the Top of His Head. All right, so because we had so much to cover, I went with one that I think you'll fire through pretty quickly. What did I call it? Where is it? We are going to talk about AEW's championship history. So I know you say easy, but I'm also going to ask you to include it. You'll probably still say easy, let's be honest. So do you want to start at Samoa Joe currently and go backwards?
Sure.
So I'm hoping you get them in order, and if you can tell me who they defeated and at what event, if you think that's possible. So first person is Samoa Joe. Okay, so obviously that's easy.
Okay.
I'll give you that name.
We're going title history backwards.
So he became the world champion by defeating who, where?
MJF at World's End.
Thank you. All right, so before that, obviously MJF then, because you just said that's who he beat. He captured it from who?
Moxley at Full Gear.
Correct.
2022.
So then Moxley has it.
So, he beat Danielson at Grand Slam.
Correct.
2022.
Correct. And how many times has he held it?
It's tricky because I think
Moxley?
I feel like the answer is 3.
Okay, we'll see.
But like it depends on it's either 3 or 4. Because it's like I think there's 3 legitimate and I think 1 interim. So you could make a case for 3 or 4.
All right, we'll find out because we're gonna go through all of them. So before Moxley,
Punk it all out.
Correct.
2022.
Before that,
Moxley on Dynamite 2022 because that was the unification, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And he pinned the lineal champion CM Punk.
Okay, so that was because they usually can't interim, and then that was the start of his next lineal run. So that's why it's 4, I think.
Pinned him in 3 minutes.
Yeah, I love that match so much.
So before that,
then that would be Mox beating Tanahashi at Forbidden Door.
Correct.
22.
That's the interim.
Yeah, that's the interim.
And before that,
Punk at Double or Nothing.
Who did
22.
he beat?
Hangman.
Correct. Before that is obviously
Omega, Full Gear 21.
And that was Page, yes.
And he beat Moxley at Winners Coming 2020.
Yes.
Who beat Jericho at Revolution 2020.
Yes.
Who beat Hangman at All Out 2019.
And that is correct. Okay, so
are we going all of them? I think TNT would be bad.
No, I'm not. That's all.
Oh, you're just doing that.
So longest reign, who?
MJF.
Correct. Do you know how many days?
350 something.
406.
Damn it.
Shortest reign.
Punk.
How many days?
3.
3 days is correct. And Moxley's got an 11-day in there.
If you want to do TNT would be hard because they hot potatoed it so much.
TNT would be hard. Man,
I think I could still pull it off.
You crushed that like a hot knife through butter or whatever they say, which I thought you would. But anyways, it's late work for me, and then you get to show how much you know, which is the point. But anyways, let's get back into more wrestling. We'll take a look at whatever we watched this week, didn't like about it. We call it Highspots and Restholds. All right, so I'll try to be quick. I had a couple things from Raw. Did you have any Raw?
I did not.
So I watched the first maybe hour and a little bit. I thought Shinsuke Sami Zayn was really good. Sami ended up winning with, I think, a haluva kick to the back of the neck.
I think he did one. Like,
I think it was more than one.
Two, yeah.
Yeah. Really good match. And then I watched New Day Imperium Hardcore match, which, like, for a WWE TV hardcore match was pretty entertaining. Eichner, Mike, whatever his new name is.
Vinci.
His back was bleeding after going through a table. People's backs were messed up from kendo shots and sticks or tables breaking and whatnot. So it was entertaining. And then I told you I saw Chelsea Green. She basically got squashed by Gonzalez, so Gonzalez could get a win, I guess.
Rodriguez.
And Chelsea Green I do not enjoy her. Nothing to say about in ring. She basically got squashed, but like just her presentation and her character feels like you said. She refers to herself as almost a diva, right?
Yeah, I think she had an interview with the Chris Van Vliet, and she was saying like she kind of belongs in that era.
Yeah. So not my favorite, but anyways, that's all I really got out of that. So looking at TNA quickly, then I guess would be next, right?
NXT.
Oh, sorry, NXT. That's right. That's well before TNA.
Buffoon.
And you watched the second half of this. So the show starts. Ilya comes out on the mic. He calls out Carmelo Hayes, insults him, says he wants to come down there. If you want to talk about the NXT Championship, let's do it. Mello comes out on the ramp, but no further, and he's got 10, 12 security guys with him.
Something like that.
And he's kind of doing a little more low-key heel thing, which I kind of like right now. And he says that basically he's not getting anywhere near Ilya unless we get Ava out there with the contract to sign, because he wants a title match. So if he's willing to get a contract and get this done, then he'll meet Ilya later in the show. Good interaction, right? Mello's in heel form, which is awesome, and he's kind of doing the whole cool and calm heel right now, which is smart. I think a smart play off of super fiery babyface Ilya, right? So I think it works well. Ava's backstage, and Gigi Dolan walks up to her and wants to talk about what's next for her. Ava says they can talk in Ava's office, so as they head in there, Jada Parker's already in there because she wants to talk to Ava as well. Gigi tries to tell her the lines behind her. Jada says she doesn't wait in lines, something about World Star, and Ava tells them that they're each other's immediate future and they'll have a match tonight. And I told you, why is it that I prefer Jada Parker and her work on the mic?
Gigi Dolan's horrible.
She's just not believable. Yes, exactly. And Jada feels a little bit real. I think they've got something with her personality-wise, at least. So that was that.
I mean, if your bar is better than Gigi Dolan, it's you could categorize a lot of people.
Then we get Kalani Jordan and Kiana James and it was an 8-minute match. James won with the 401k, which is that float over flatliner thing, because Izzy Dame had pulled Kalani Jordan off of the ring apron and then sent her back in the ring to Kiana for the win. It was fine. I get what they see in Kalani Jordan, but
it's not quite there.
And the selling's not there, and the little in-between stuff, even sometimes running the ropes.
Does Melo not teach her?
I guess not, but I see what they see in her. She does have babyface potential, and people like to cheer for her. I
like her Spider-Gwen gear from Halloween.
She's just not polished yet, right? That's all.
Yeah.
But she got an 8-minute match here. It was fine, I guess. And then we go back to sort of recap of Legend having to come out, and because she was ready, I guess, still in her gear to come out for that match. And then Roxy was furious afterwards because she missed out on that opportunity.
That's not a bad way to pivot that story.
It is. I thought so too. And then Jakara Jackson comes out and is basically it's because Lash stays ready, right? And then of course Roxanne is fiery, so she attacks her right there,
punching people again. Was it in the parking lot?
No, it was not. Locker room.
That's weird.
And then I texted you. You were at work.
People get beat down in the parking lot. People get punched in the locker room.
That's right. It was Gallows and Anderson taking on Inafe and a Malik Blade.
Yeah.
And what did I text you?
You'd love.
No, what did I say?
Chin locks.
I gave you Luke Gallows' entire repertoire in that match.
Oh, yeah.
Right? It was headbutt.
Big
those
kick.
Stupid corner punches where he covers himself even though the other guy's not trying to hit him.
Yeah, he just
the body shots. And then he did half of a Magic Killer. That is all.
Doesn't he? Does he do the part with the more work, where he drops on his back, or no?
I think so.
I feel like
lifts him up.
weird.
I think so. This they put they took this babyface team that is actually starting to look good and gel a little bit and had them job to these guys in 5 minutes as expected, and just Carl Anderson's fine, but Gallows isn't there to do anything, and he didn't do anything here, and it annoyed me. So, and it just, the burial, exactly what happens, right? These guys that are starting to gain traction, nope, now you lose in 5 minutes to a main roster team that doesn't do anything on main roster.
Just got ditched by AJ Styles.
So I was frustrated by this. I like Bladen and Afe. This did absolutely nothing for them. Doesn't help any of the younger talent at all. What a surprise. And then you've got Chase and Duke Hudson are in the Chase U section, and they start talking because they have a problem with the OC, I guess. Don't
they have a title shot, though?
Yeah, and they're going to give a Chase-size ass whooping, and then Fraser and Axiom come out, and they say they've got next on the OC, so now they're competing over who faces the OC.
I saw that, and I thought that was weird. Cause it's
instead
like,
of the championship.
I understand maybe why Fraser and Axiom, because they got attacked. They don't have a shot.
The message is main roster people. That's more important than the titles.
Right. Like, I feel like for Chase U, they should focus on the titles. I feel like at least with Fraser and Axiom, it's like they got beat up too, but they also don't have a title shot, so what else are they going to do? And
then did you see LWO show up here?
Yeah.
Wild missile drop kicks Gallows, and then they all just are sort of...
he should have done the lazy bump to the outside.
And the Wolf Dogs are kind of looking at everything as we have a tag division, as we said, right? So I like that.
And Gallows Anderson at the top.
Absolutely not. That's terrible. Ava's on the phone talking about title matches. Obafemi walks in, wants to know who his next victim is. She says she's figuring it out. A lot of people want a shot at him, and that they'll...
Why doesn't he just do the open challenge like Wesley?
Because I don't even know if Oba's a face or a heel. Like,
well,
I feel
if he's
like
asking for his next, like, shouldn't he just throw it out then?
But then I don't know. If he was a true face, wouldn't he just be like, "I'll face anyone. You don't even have to tell me who it is."
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't...
So I don't know. We basically get a brief little like Ilya walks by and sort of looks at Oba, who. So I don't want this to happen already, obviously. Although I feel like Dragunov's probably going to lose to Mello, and then who knows what? Maybe he puts over Femi on his way out. Gross, but I could see it happening.
Okay.
Perez Jakara Jackson in a 4-minute match, I'm going to say, wasn't very good. I don't think Jakara Jackson is very good. Perez is good. I'm not loving this thing she's doing right now. It's just, I'm not finding it super believable. And she won with, I think it was a Russian leg sweep right into a crossface, obviously, and then holds on to it a little bit after the tap because she's gone bad, you know.
She's edgy.
But Jakara Jackson needs some work still.
Hey, you remember her name though? That's progress.
I do remember her name a little bit. Thea Hale's backstage with JC Jane and Jasmine Nix, saying that she talked to...
I almost forgot who that was.
Riley Osborne. It's easy to forget. She hasn't done much yet. And Jane's like, "Oh, why did he come crawling back?" And Thea's like, "No, actually the opposite. That wasn't the girl he planned on dating or whatever." And then JC says that the old Thea Hale was a loser and that Chase and Hudson are losers. And obviously Thea Hale's starting to sort of question this alliance, I would say.
They're grown-ups, right?
Yeah, exactly. And Hale needs to go back to being Scrappy Doo because it was way better. And
don't make that comparison. That makes me think of Butch.
But JC Jane, like, if they're all losers, why were you like
trying to save their school?
And you did save their school.
And yeah,
what was the end game? Did she make money off this?
Did she make crazy profit on it? Did she take out Jasmine for a date or something? Like,
because now it's like on a dime, she's back to being a mean girl because she found somebody else to team up with. I guess I don't know, but
is Jasmine a bad influence? Is that what we're gonna learn? Like,
Thea Hale's better off as a babyface, anyways. Braun and Baron Corbin are talking, and it's funny. It's like Braun, because they're wearing leather jackets, and Braun's got the airbrush one, and he's going, "I've got an airbrush guy. Your jacket's so plain," or whatever. Just trying to get him to, because they are very different.
Doesn't he have the Rick Steiner one, or it looks like that?
Yes, basically. They walk up on OC, and they sort of go back and forth a little bit. Gallo says they're the next NXT Tag Team Champions, and it'll be easier than they thought. Come on now. So anyways,
I hope that happens. I really hope that happens.
Hard no to all that. Dijak took on Luca Crucifino, and this was like a 4-minute match maybe, but Crucifino got a ton somehow. Like, I don't know. They made him look like this ultra aggressive,
just shortchanged Dijak for no reason.
Reckless, willing to just try and take out this big guy. So that was kind of strange to me. But anyways, Dijak ends up winning with what is it? The Feast Your Eyes, I guess, right? Discus boot, Feast Your Eyes. He wins. So I'm not sure. And then after the match, Gacy is like he's escaped from wherever Dijak had him held hostage, and he's like half busted out of the straitjacket to distract Dijak. So then Luca Crucifino pulls a crowbar out from behind the ring steps, and he hits Dijak with it. So that crowbar is telling, right? Because now it cut to Tony and Stacks backstage because he used their signature weapon, and he's a Luca Crucifino that sounds pretty Italian.
He could totally join that group. It's like he could be their legal guy.
Well, that's what it is. Stacks says tell Stacks to go get him. And Stacks, or I don't know, Tony's got bigger things to handle, but they'll get to Crucifino later tonight, so sure. Noam Dar or a Mensa little thing, nothing important there. We'll skip it. Lyra Valkyria gets in the ring, and she says that first things first, she wishes Shotzi a speedy recovery. Says that, Lash did a good job considering the circumstances, blah, blah, blah. She vows to remain NXT champion, and she so far is keeping those vows. And then she said she did promise Tatum a surprise, so she calls Tatum out to the ring, and Tatum crawls out from the guardrail area. She's obviously really excited to be in here. Last week was so hard to not go to the ring, blah, blah, blah. And then basically it ends up with, what was the announcement? Did you hear?
Tag title match.
Correct. They're going to face the Kabuki Warriors for the Women's Tag Team Championship. So further embracing her stalker and forming a tag team with her for this,
like,
right?
if you win the titles, then you have to hang around to stalker more. It's Stockholm.
And they're going to, take on Asuka and Kairi Sane at Roadblock. So I don't know. I guess this is fine. It feels a little bit beneath the champion to be tagging up with.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was interested for a little bit. It's starting to lose my interest. It hasn't really developed the way I would hope. But then it was weird because Ridge Holland just interrupts them. And, like, I didn't like it because Lyra's just like, okay, and gets out of the ring. Like, I would have loved her to be like, who the hell are you? I'm the NXT Women's Champion. You don't get to, like,
you're a guy who
come and take the ring from me.
What are you going to do? Beat me with a chair?
So I didn't, right. I didn't love them deferring to him.
She's just like, no, and then he just starts raging and he starts beating her up with a chair. And then he gets,
that would get him
over.
over.
Oh, crap, what have I done?
So he appreciates them leaving. The crowd boos him. He says he's a man of action more than words. But his actions of late have gotten him into this predicament.
Oh, we get to talk about this now.
He's the guy who always takes it too far. He's out to apologize for those actions. He was just defending himself and his family, no malice or malicious intent. Lights go off, they come back on, and we hear a familiar voice say, truth will ultimately prevail.
It's those packages that we thought might be
Okada. Yes, but it's always pain bringing it to the light or something like that. And lights come back on.
It's like a spotlight. Remember when Damian Priest old NXT entrance used to have that and it looked really cool?
And it's Shawn Spears in need of extra development, I guess, back in NXT. You're thrilled. Woo! I am nonplussed.
Oh, I know. I was actually kind of interested in that. I knew you wouldn't really give a crap.
He's just okay. He's not bad. He's not good.
I think he's
solid.
Like
Matt Taven. He's Matt Taven.
But I don't think Spears is like, because I've seen it, like, I don't think he is, because Taven clearly thinks he's the shit, and I think Spears at least is a little more self-aware than that.
AEW, I don't know, he was not happy with his presentation.
What I've seen was from his interview, because Taven, I feel like, would be. But I always like Spears more than most, I think, especially when he's Ty Dillinger, because Ty Dillinger was awesome. But I thought the chairman thing kind of had potential, because, like, you could kind of do something where you just, like kind of like where he's hunting people with the chair. I don't know. He's
fine.
But then I feel like that's why NXT is a solid spot for him, and I feel like it could make him into something. Cause
I didn't like the little speaking part he had later either.
It remade Balor and Corbin. So
it did. It's possible. It is possible.
We used to hate Corbin.
So we get Oba outside. Brooks Jensen approaches him and getting his face and saying he's Oba's next challenger. Oba's like, you probably don't want that because you're not going to be able to walk or whatever afterwards. And Jensen is like, I've been told to find my balls and do stuff like this, so he's doing it.
He stopped talking about his balls, though.
And anyways, we'll see where that goes. That Lexus King Von Wagner, I think, were you around for this one, right? This was
I don't think I really watched it, but I was
4 minutes. Really not very interesting at all. Two guys who do basic stuff, and one of them I don't think looks that effective a lot in King. It was a lot of leg work, right, by Lexus King here. A lot of chop blocks and dragon screws and stuff like that Vaughn wasn't taking very well. I didn't think they looked like he was really... sometimes dragon screws look like it's actually...
Yeah, they look really... I think Jay White always does a really good one.
So Stone gets on the apron, distracts King, and Vaughn wins, has to beat Lexus King with a roll-up in 4 minutes.
I thought that was a weird choice.
It was not good.
Especially
These guys are both basic.
Vaughn's not a heel anymore, so it's like, why are you doing a distraction roll-up?
And Lexus King is like the heel of all heels,
exactly.
And he got cheated here.
Yeah.
Lexus attacks Vaughn after the bell. Stone goes in to grab King by the hair, but he hits the coronation to Stone because Stone is a manager.
A weakling.
I guess. Something about Kabuki Warriors ready for the tag team match. And I don't know what else do we want to do here. Someone is recording Dijak with Ava, remember? And they're kind of ignoring the camera.
It was Gacy with the camera.
And it's Gacy who is the cameraman. And
I thought, you were saying, I'm like, they always
see
ignore
their feet
the
and they brawl. Yeah, I guess they're just assuming it was a regular cameraman. Gigi Dolan, Jada Parker, we got a little over 4 minutes, but under 5. And I liked it because Jada got the win here, right? Because Ariana Grace came out and was like,
because her whole thing in the locker room was
like, we all need to get along.
It's weird. It was weird,
but she's never done that before, and she's let 1 million people have matches. So why the sudden she's trying to bring the locker room together? I guess
she's
is where they're
leader.
going. But anyways, that distraction sort of
we know they said Fallon Henley's a locker room leader
leads to Jada getting the win, which I think is good because I don't
just not with the forearm though.
No, I agree, something better. But I think she's pretty new at this point. But I think she's got something, and Dolan doesn't. So have Dolan. We know what she is at this point. She's not like a rookie or anything.
It's weird that she's been here so long. I always forget that.
Use her to build other people because there's no point in building her, I would suggest, unfortunately. Agreed. Let me see what else we got. Then we get the Heritage Cup match, right? It's Dar and which no quarter catch member? It's the one we preferred, and it's Charlie Dempsey.
The one I like best.
And so round 1, we get a my favorite backslide ever.
He kind of when they do the roll through into a neckbreaker, he did some roll through into a backslide, and then he got bridged over it. It was a really cool deep looking pin. It was awesome.
He's holding the wrist and flipping over, so I don't know how you get out of it.
It looks sweet. It was a really early fall.
It's an amazing, low impact, believable pinfall.
It was a really early fall for one of these matches.
Really early.
But, it was really cool.
So Dempsey's up 1-0, and the second round was commercial round, right? We basically get nothing from it.
As you expect. Back
from the break, they tell us Dar was in control, but there's just 10 seconds, and it's a shot right at the bell, I think. So round 3. And is this where we get that one finishes Dar with a knee bar, but Dempsey counters with a German
champagne super knee bar.
And then I think they both exchange shots after the bell. Dar for sure here. I think it was both of them though. Mm-hmm. So we head into round 4. Leaping elbow, suplex, spinning back fist, and Nova roller, and we're even at 1-1. Dar gets a fall there. And then in the 5th round, Dempsey dodges, Dar attacks. Dar comes off the second rope for a shot to the back of the neck. Pin attempt gets 2. Nova with knees and a back elbow. His back elbows weren't quite as crisp as sometimes.
You call him Nova?
Yeah. Sorry. No. No-am. And no quarter catch crew start getting involved. They get taken out. Dempsey with a full Nelson suplex with the bridge, right? I think
Dragon
it was
suplex.
Pretty high. Dragon suplex. And so Charlie Dempsey wins in barely a minute into round 5. I was a little bit surprised.
I think we thought the same thing. Cause I was gonna be disappointed Dar loses no matter what.
But if
I feel
it
like
has
he should have the cup no matter what. But if anyone's gonna be Dar, I'm glad it's Dempsey because I feel like he fits the cup really well too in a different way.
And they even mentioned that during NXT UK he was a number 1 contender and never got to have the match. Or did it because it ended before that?
I feel like I don't know. We were saying he should have had it. I don't think I know he never held it, but
I like this match. I don't think a lot of people will love it because it was a lot of holds and counters early on, but
I really liked it.
I really like both of their styles, so I thought they meshed well. And
I thought it was a strong TV match.
This raises Dempsey's profile, which is what we want, and gives the no quarter catch crew a little bit of a.
I'm hoping that that they don't freebird rule this. You know what I mean? Because they have that catch clause. I hope now you can have that catch clause for other matches, but it's Dempsey's cup. You have Dempsey.
The stereotypical move would be then to have Gulak be the one because he's the leader, right? And blah blah blah.
I hope it's just Dempsey's cup because that makes the most sense to me.
Me too. Sean Spears is coming out of the building and asked why he attacked Ridge. He says he likes Ridge, but he's been lying to himself. The jolt of pain in his body is the truth, and the truth will set you free. I thought this was annoying.
Truth.
I thought this was like that intentionally cryptic. Like, you have nothing to do with Ridge Holland, let's be honest. You guys weren't in the company together, I don't think. Were they? No. So I don't know how they're going to retcon this or make this work, but I'm not confident it's going to be interesting.
Sean Spears.
And then,
I still need that figure.
Do you want to talk about, you were there for the contract or when Mello and Dragunov come out and they're having a nice little back and forth and I'm enjoying it. And then Tony D'Angelo comes out.
I don't like it either, but I like that you don't like it.
Super annoying. I honestly immediately lost interest in what was going on. Right. So he needs, like, if you're talking about business, I need to be included. Mello threatens to have security take him out, and then Tony has control of the security because they all leave on his command. I guess
paid him off. I guess
that's the idea. I don't know. Basically, Tony ends up taking like a spine buster through the table,
backdrop suplex. I don't know.
From Mello, and they sign the contract. He picks up the title, and there's posing and whatever afterwards. So I don't know, man. Tony D just ruined this for me. Like, I didn't feel like recapping it because they were having a good back and forth interaction, and then this guy shows up and it's just like, oh, now it's a cartoon segment, right? Like, it's no longer a serious, real feeling thing. It's now into the absurd. So kind of disappointing, but still looking forward to Mello Dragunov. Feel like Mello's probably winning, right? And then I think we circle back around to Trick's return.
Probably.
I think maybe there's a placeholder match or two
it's
in
weird,
between.
I thought, I guess then maybe Mello won't be called up after Mania because, I don't know, maybe
Monday
either
after
way,
Mania.
Because, I don't think he'll be called up full time after Mania because either he wins the title and he's got to do that for a bit, or he loses, but he's clearly feuding with Trick.
Right. I don't know. We'll see where they go, I guess. TNA really quickly. Opener, Bailey Macklin, quite liked it. Good match. He brought back the Mayhem for All, which is like a jumping sit out tombstone, I guess is the best way to describe it. And then he hit the KIA, which is the Death Rider, which looked really good. He hit it really nice. Just enough involvement from the Rascals. Still don't understand the sort of union of Macklin and Rascals. Feels weird, but Bailey's always good. So I really like this match. Post-match, Macklin's taking credit for Nick Nemeth being gone. Nemeth pops up on the Tron. He's in Japan. He's not like Macklin ran away. Right, and he has a belt now. He'll be back at Sacrifice. Kaz gets suspended for killing referees at No Surrender. And Kaz he's trying to be menacing. He's like, oh, ask Santino if this is really the right thing to do. I don't find him believable as menacing. And I think that's the problem with Kaz, right? There's never been a character that fit or that he mastered or whatever. Because he's awesome in the ring, or he was. He's still pretty good, but I'm not that interested. Jake something. Wow, I didn't even write who he wrestled here. It was Laredo Kid. And
it's not bad.
The one thing I liked is there was a Rana out on the floor, and Jake something just kind of holds on to his ankles and ends up like picking him up and hitting a sit out power bomb. It looked cool. Jake something wins with a really sudden into the void, the black hole slam that he hits that looks really good. Pretty good, very quick, like 5-minute TV match. Contrast the styles, and I think they should be building something into a monster, which they kind of gave him that treatment here. He got like a quick quality win, so I was happy. Khan and Alan Angels. Alan Angels is late for the, oh my God, what's the segment called? Sound check. So Khan is annoyed, and Angels is kind of condescending, like, oh, we're both doing great. I'm so proud of you right now. Khan calls him out on it, and he says he's the baddest man in TNA. He'll kill PCO. Then things go black and white, an homage to Tony Storm, I guess. I don't know. PCO shows up, shoves Angels, and then it's like they're about to, PCO and Khan are about to punch each other, and we fade out, kind of like the old Rocky kind of thing. Khan singles push, man. Come on. We already know what Khan is, and it's not good. You can't, like,
he is everything.
You can't give this time to somebody else. I don't know who, but pretty much anyone.
Khan is everything you wish you were.
If you listen to the show, you know how I feel about this feud, and none of this did anything to change it. AJ Francis making his, I think, Impact debut in ring. And he's teaming up with Diener, so Diener can do all the work here against Joe Hendry, and Rich Swann.
Top Dollar is like a celebrity wrestler without any of the star power.
That's kind of what it feels like. Like, they think he has mainstream notoriety or something.
I saw some interview about him going to NWA, and I think he thought, like, It seems like he thinks people care. Like, no one cares about what he does.
No. Henry talks in the ring ahead of this match, and it's pretty boring, and he gets an AJ sucks chant going. Again, Diener does almost all of the work here early. There is one crazy stalling suplex by Joe Hendry. The Tennessee Whiskey is one of AJ Francis's signature moves, I guess. It's basically a running knee to a seated opponent in the corner, and then he hits the ropes and flips over.
He's done that before.
And lands. It's not super impressive. I guess the idea is he's 300 pounds, so good for him.
Well, he is good at flopping over the ropes. We know that.
Yeah, that's right. Swan takes out Francis on the floor. Hendry hits his finisher. Why can't I remember the name of it? To Diener for the win.
What is this, standing ovation or something? That's not.
No,
because it's like
doesn't sound
it's
right.
It's something because he elevates them up.
Yes.
Right? It's, what is that called?
I can't remember.
I'm gonna look it up.
The crowd wasn't into this. Neither was I. AJ Francis is not a signing they needed to make. I don't think he's connecting with anyone in any way. Certainly not me. Crowd didn't seem to either. Decay vignette. Something about them being patient. Lots of spooky words and images. Same old nonsense. I was really hoping MK Ultra were done with these two. I find Rosemary insufferable in the, like, I can't. It's all I can do to listen to her speak because there's something about it that's just insufferable to me. Dirty Dango now has a wrestling school, and so he's back to being a joke really quickly, and I don't enjoy his group. It's him and Johnny, what's he going by? Bravo. Yeah. And then Prudius. Which is who? Kozlov?
Oh, yeah, Kozlov.
Yeah, so I don't know, man. I don't like this group. I don't like Dango, what he's doing. I liked for a little bit that whole, like, I hate pro wrestling thing, but now he just kept going, like, the website on the bottom, call the website for my wrestling school. Anyways, Mustafa Ali's in the ring doing his political leader gimmick, and he's about to give his first executive order when Chris Sabin comes out and interrupts him, and he says his heartfelt piece about whatever. The good hands attack him from behind. Kushida and Knight make the save. Ali is mad that his moment is ruined. I didn't really love this, to be honest. I thought Ali was fine, but Sabin didn't sound great, and it just, I don't know. I just want Ali to get more attention, and I'm not sure. I'm not 100% on this politician gimmick right now. I like the idea of it. I need to see it a bit more before I really make up my mind.
It's not even listed on the site where his finishers are listed.
Ash is second. I forget his name. Is all excited about the big announcement, and the big announcement is that Ash will wrestle next week. So I guess everything's a big deal with Ash is the point, but nobody cares. Zaya Brookside, Tasha Steeles.
Standing ovation.
Oh, it is, eh?
How did I get that?
We get a double count out after two decent moves from Brookside. It was a basement drop kick on the floor that actually looked pretty stiff, and then she hit a neck breaker on the floor. They both struggle to get up, and then they both sort of stop each other from getting in the ring, and we get the double count out to further this feud. And then, for some reason, Jordan Grace walks out and says she'll make it simple, and she'll face both of them in a triple threat at Sacrifice because they're deserving of titles. Shots, I guess. And just this heat between Brookside and Steeles they keep telling us about, I don't feel it, right? Like, you watch them wrestle and it doesn't feel like there's
it's heatless.
Any extra grudge there, really. Rhino wants Crazy Steve in a no DQ match.
I think it's on Explosion.
So Steve has gone from Dreamer to Rhino. Lucky guy. Another TNA cookie cutter main event. It's the System taking on ABC and Eric Young now. And regardless of how good the action is, I'm just annoyed by this formula. It's that multi-person preview of PLE matches, and it's always the System.
Also, you're previewing Eric Young versus Moose, can I point out?
And it's whatever the faction du jour is versus a cobbling together like it was Honor No More all the time against somebody, and now it's the System against somebody.
Honor No More.
Perfectly good match. The heels won with... it was a pump kick from Moose into a backpack stunner from Eddie Edwards into an elbow drop from Myers for the pin after, I guess, Alyssa, there's a brief distraction too. So totally fine trios match, fun match, but just again,
backpack
like...
center boot sounds like the, what's the Proton Pack, OGK.
Right. Oh, great. But just like, again, this is just people I'm going to see. I've already seen them. I'm going to see them again soon. So I don't get why they keep doing this and they can't have some better idea. It's just repeating this formula every week is really starting to annoy me.
Stick to the formula.
I guess so. I guess we don't have anything SmackDown.
Just a preview.
And so,
Revolution.
All right, our final thing this week, because you said there's no real figure update, is we'll take a quick preview and predictions of, that is Sundays, right? Sunday's AEW Revolution. All right, so on the scale of ton of thought and no thought, I'm somewhere in the middle. I put in some thought into this. You probably put in more.
On a scale of ton of thought to I typed them as I was putting up the match card, it is the second one.
All right, so I'm looking at the card right now just to give me
nothing on pre-show matches, just from where we stand as we're recording on Friday night. So.
Although this one still has the All-Star Scramble on here. Isn't that gone?
No, that's a replacement for Meat Madness.
Oh, and it's got half of the Meat Madness guys in it.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
Well, it's got all the Meat Madness guys in there. It's just, no, there's not. Because they were supposed to have Miro and Keith Lee.
Yeah.
Anywho, 8-man All-Star Scramble for World Title Shots. Jericho, yay. Wardlow, yay. Hobbs, nice. Archer, yay. Hook, nice. And Brian Cage, nice. Why wasn't Brian Cage and Meat Madness to begin with? Wouldn't that make sense?
I would think. Pretty
versus meaty. Either Matt Sydal or a CMLL guy, and then anyone between Penta, Bounty Hunter, Brian Keith, and Dante Martin. So let's just call it Sydal and Penta.
Who wins this?
Wardlow.
This is tough.
It's Wardlow. It's kind of a questionable lineup for number one contenders match, but luckily I think that makes it easy. By no means is my pick who I want to win, but based on recent things, I think it's fairly simple. Regretfully, I'm going to have to pick Wardlow. It just seems like where they go, and hopefully I'm either wrong or it's over with fast, because like he had that promo last week. Cole's been saying he's got to go for the title, so I feel like it has to be Wardlow. I hope it's a short pursuit, but like
a
Wardlow.
Placeholder challenger.
Yeah, I feel like it has to be Wardlow.
I don't want to just agree with you, but like who else? Powerhouse Hobbs, no.
I wish.
Lance Archer, no.
No,
Jericho better damn not be.
I will punch the wall if it's Jericho.
Hook, not yet. Cage, no.
They just did Hook too.
Neither of the other two. So I guess by the process of elimination, I can't disagree with you because he is at least on that tier or
he's
adjacent.
Regrettably on the radar.
Right. So yeah, I guess it's got to be Wardlow.
Yeah, I'm about as happy about that as you are. So next we get Toni Storm versus Deonna Purrazzo for the women's title. I feel like it's got to be Storm. Maybe she can lose it to Monet in the near future, but like I think you would agree, it just doesn't feel like they've built Purrazzo.
Doesn't.
They didn't even touch it on the go home. I just realized they didn't even touch it.
And no, they didn't. And I think like that's true. And again, heel Purrazzo is peak Purrazzo. So if they want to just get her
you could wait that out
here,
for sure.
And hopefully they have a really good match, and then she can turn heel at a later date. Because I agree, it's Toni. It just does not feel like they're taking it off Toni Storm yet. Everybody else seems to love her more than we do, so I don't think they're going to move that title yet.
Next, Christian Cage versus Daniel Garcia for the TNT title. I hope it's a good match and a good showing for Garcia, because a singles pay-per-view match is really great for him, and I'm happy for him. But I don't see him coming on top. I feel like front runners to beat Christian are either Edge or Luchasaurus. Yeah. I feel like it could go either way between those two. I'm glad to see Garcia get this match, but I don't see him winning at all.
No, me either. It's Cage. Cage is prominent. Cage looks great with that title, right? Like him, this character being a champion
is almost
always
necessary.
Cheating to win or whatever is a huge piece of it. And Garcia, I did see a thing that Danielson still wants Garcia if they had to add to Blackpool.
Obviously.
That's his first choice.
Anytime.
But anyways, it's Christian Cage. I hope I like Garcia, so I hope the match is really good.
Orange Cassidy versus Roddy Strong for the international title. Initially, I would have gone the other way as the Undisputed Kingdom. But as they've gone on, things have changed. The argument can be made that since that group is incredibly lacking, they need a title to get legitimacy and start improving. But I feel like it'll be more of a case of bringing the title down less than bringing the group up. So I think Cassidy retains here, and you have someone who could benefit from it more, or more so do better with the title win. I'm thinking either a free from the acclaimed Jay White could win the title, because Bullet Club Gold with some gold would be nice. And I mean real gold, none of this ROH 6-man crap.
Right.
Or preferably Mr. Takeshita, which is the dream. I've been saying it for weeks. But I think Cassidy retains her because I like Roddy, but it's just I don't want the group to tank this title. I feel like Cassidy really does good things for the belt, and you need to be careful about who he drops it to.
I'm not super confident, but I will take Roderick Strong just because I feel
could
like
see them doing Roddy. I just don't think it's smart.
I feel like they still want to try and get this group some traction before Cole comes back, and then him coming back could put them over the top in their mind. I don't see it happening, but
I say you just try to do your best without the belt.
Cassidy's had a couple good runs now. Maybe they're just trying something new, or like it's a career achievement thing for Strong. Who knows? But I'll take Roderick Strong here.
All right.
Not super confident, but
yeah, I could sell him
just to have different picks.
That's
know.
Fair. Next, Eddie Kingston defending the AEW Continental Crown Championship against Bryan Danielson. I don't feel particularly strong for this one either way, so it's a tricky one to pick. I kind of feel like Eddie retains and beats Danielson again to cement that feud, but I could also see Danielson winning for a change. However, I think you kind of mentioned earlier, which was kind of my opinion, was Danielson's winding things down. I don't see him really wanting to do a title run like this. I feel like he'll put Eddie over again just to really give him that. Because I feel like Eddie's whole thing is that the Triple Crown's kind of symbolic of his heroes, and I feel like it's good with him for now.
And the finish of the TV match sort of to me too.
Yeah.
Like
also the fact that Danielson won that for sure.
And I don't think Danielson benefits from having this Continental Championship.
Yeah, he doesn't need it.
And Eddie does. So and it's still pretty fresh for Eddie. So I think Eddie gets the win back here.
Agreed.
And Danielson has to shake his hand too, right?
Yeah. The last time there's a Revolution match where someone had to shake his hand, we got Jazz out of it. So
awesome.
It was Jericho had to shake his hand and he didn't, and then we got Jazz.
We can be hopeful.
So we'll get Bass this time.
That's right.
It's not a fishing group because vegan.
Exactly. It's a tofu group.
Next we get FTR versus Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli. This one I feel like could really go either way. I'm leaning towards FTR. I don't have much of a reason. I'm just going with FTR.
I feel like it's FTR too. I just also don't quite know why. It just feels like that's the right play here, the way things are going.
Just seems to make sense.
It does. And I don't think the loss hurts Blackpool either.
No.
So, and Claudio will take the pin, obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Next we got Ospreay versus Takeshita. Probably the one I'm looking forward to most. Just sheer dream match.
And you know
power.
my pick already. I let my pick out last week.
Worked me on that, yeah.
So I'm Takeshita.
Yeah. So
did you come around?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm kind of torn on it though, because initially I'm like, it's Ospreay's comeback or his really coming out party is the word I'm looking for, and I'm less sure now because he obviously has to get out of this faction sooner than later. It's just not that it's a bad group. I really like the group. It's just not something he needs to be in. And with Don Callis being Don Callis, it's very likely there will be some shenanigans.
Yeah.
This is also partially swayed by Father.
Yeah.
I'm hopeful Takeshita wins as well. Even without that, I'm hopeful Takeshita wins because I love him. I think he's a future big player for them. We've been saying it for a while.
It's a way to get him a quality win, further the Ospreay story.
Yeah.
It just makes a lot of sense.
They just need to start capitalizing on him too. Little risky, but I'll take Takeshita via shenanigans.
Fair enough.
And I'm very hopeful because I love the guy.
I'm Takeshita. I've made that case since last week for all the reasons you've said.
All right, this one might get a little long because I went into fantasy booking, but we'll just bear with me. Sting and Darbyth versus the Young Bucks, World Tag Titles, turning the tag because Sting's old. So initially I was pretty certain the Bucks would win this one, kind of like how NXT call-ups always lose on their way out. I was expecting Sting to do the same.
And Sting's an old school guy.
Right. However, since Sting and Darby won the tag titles, I thought about it a little. I've become of the opinion that Sting and Darby should win. Yes, that's crazy for me to say, but I think there's more at play here that you could think about, and I'm hoping this is the way they go.
Win, vacate, tag tournament?
I think you let Sting and Darby win. You let Sting have his moment and on a high, right? Because they've been doing this whole final hurrah thing, and I feel like Sting would like to go out, but I feel like also the Bucks are willing to give him that. You know what
Probably.
I mean? You let him ride off in the sunset and have his moment, go off with a W. More importantly than the fate of the tag titles is up in the air. Since it's confirmed as Sting's last match, he's done win or lose. Regardless, this is it. Thankfully.
Hooray.
I think Sting and Darby retain, then they vacate the titles, and they're held up in some grand tournament. You can do a single elimination or C2 style. I don't care. Either works for me. It can be used to reboot and refresh the tag division, which I've been asking for since the year started. Because we just got Private Party back. You can throw in Top Flight. You got FTR. Mox and Claudio could be a solid team in there. Starks and Bill can get back in the mix. Guns, Trent and Rocky are around. Maybe even Gates of Agony. And then if Phoenix and Mark Davis are healthy, boom, Lucha Bros Ozzy Open in there. That's most of the teams that are worth mentioning, and that sounds pretty good to me.
It does.
So I'm going Sting wins, vacate titles, tourney, division saved.
I hope you're right, but I'll stick with Young Bucks.
That's fair.
Because feels like Sting will try and do.
But I'd argue the Bucks don't.
But he's not really
he's not really doing anything.
He's not elevating anybody by doing it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if he was facing someone else, it might be different. But I don't think the Bucks really gain anything from this victory.
No, probably not. But I'll still take them, just in the interest of difference.
Finally, Joe's Hangman Swerve. This one's really simple.
Swerve's this for weeks too.
Yeah, Swerve is title ready. Joe isn't ready to lose it. Hangman's hell-bent on winning the title, but more so preventing Swerve from doing that.
Correct.
Therefore, Hangman will let his desire to make sure Swerve does not win. That it will throw his own goal into jeopardy. Joe will retain for now. Joe wins. Swerve will have to wait.
Page sacrifices himself, ends up taking the pin. Joe retains. We circle back around to Swerve later. Yeah. I agree. Sure. Been calling that one for weeks. So we got a couple differences. That's good.
A couple.
Nice. And I think that's everything, yeah?
I think so.
Wow, we got that all in 2:15. That's pretty good.
Surprising.
That's not bad for us. Well, thanks for tuning in to episode 189. If you've made it this far, that's amazing. Feel free to contact us. If you have any suggestions, questions, thoughts, criticisms, fnswrestling@gmail.com, fns_wrestling_podcast on Instagram. We look forward to hearing you. I'll always reply if I know you comment. I don't know how to find it on some platforms, as I've talked about, but anytime I see it, I will reply to you. Appreciate any time you spend hanging out with us. We'll be back here next Saturday for episode 190. Wow. And until then, everybody, take care.